Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. My background is hundreds of millions of points strong. Chapter 81. In the next 2 days, although Kai Xinlian came, Lu Juyuan and others had no intention of continuing to play. After playing for a day, they also had a clearer understanding of Tianquan Kingdom. It's fun, but not much more fun than Yuanwu Kingdom. As for Wu Quanchai's words, Lu Juyuan couldn't even leave. He could only stay in the number 4 Buyuan next to him and concentrate on his cultivation. Although his combat power is not very strong, if he wants to enter the top 100, there shouldn't be much of a problem. At the same time, in the Wang family, Wang Tang was angrily smashing everything in his room. It was obvious that he had been in a state of extreme anger after escaping from Lu Juyuan and others. Where did this pariah come from and dared to subject me to such a disgrace and humiliation? Wang Tang's eyes were red and he said with murderous intent, but at this moment, Tanger, you disappoint me so much. Faced with this little setback, you actually behaved so badly. Tell me how others will view me. A figure came to Wang Tang and said without argument, and he was Wang Tang's father, Wang Xiao. Seeing his father appear, Wang Tang took a deep breath, then gradually calmed down his restless heart, and bowed to Wang Xiao. Thank you, father. I already know that the only one who is powerful is his bodyguard. When I meet him again next time, I will use my strength to kill him. Wang Tang's face was full of determination at this time. He was Wang Xiao's son, and he had the talent of an immortal. It was just that he had been addicted to fun in these years, and he only broke through to it when he was in his 40s. Gold Core Peak. Well, since the other party doesn't know you, there's a high probability that the other party came from other places, and this period is the time of the 100 Kingdoms competition, so there is a high probability that the other party is here to participate in the 100 Kingdoms competition. Exactly 2 days later will be the first stage of the 100 Kingdoms competition. At that time, you can follow my father to see where the opponent is. My father will apply for an opportunity for you to duel with the opponent in front of His Majesty. Wang Xiao said lightly that he was about to break through to the peak of Mahayana, and by then he would be considered the absolute combat power of the Tianquan Kingdom. That was why he had such confidence and made the other party pay the price. I know, father. After Wang Tang said that, he turned around and left, and the direction he was heading towards was the training room. Wang Xiao couldn't help but smile with satisfaction when he saw this scene. It seemed that letting his son experience a little setback would be beneficial to his growth. For a moment, he couldn't help but feel grateful to Lu Juyuan, but it was just gratitude. Since the other party dared to kill his own slave, he must pay the price with blood. And time passed quietly for 2 days. During these 2 days, Lu Juyuan only once again cultivated 4 top-level immortal arts to the great accomplishment. Apart from this, there has not been much progress in realm for the time being. After all, with Lu Juyuan's current realm, he can feel that no one in the 100 Kingdoms competition will be his opponent. Just kidding, once the 999 Chaos Gold Core comes out, even the Peak Soul formation may not be able to match it. Phew, it's time to go. Lu Juyuan felt Li Xuanren's call, and immediately opened his eyes from the retreat room, stood up and walked out. When they came outside, Li Tian and others had been waiting for a long time, and it was obvious that they had not broken through to the nascent soul stage in the past 2 days. After all, the crossing of each big realm is a huge gap. The front is fine, but if you get to the back, it will take hundreds or even thousands of years to break through even a small realm. Not to mention the immortals above Mahayana. Beings of that level can spend thousands of years in seclusion. You've become stronger again, Li Xuanren said with some surprise. It was not that he felt that Lu Juyuan's realm had improved, but that he felt that Lu Juyuan's aura seemed to be a little thicker. No, I just mastered a few magic arts. Lu Juyuan shook his head and said calmly. As soon as he said this, Li Tian and others couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. After all, even the simplest Huang-level magic would take them almost a day to master. As for Lu Juyuan, I'm afraid the magic he's talking about won't be of Huangjia's level. After all, this level of magic won't improve his strength much. So there is only one truth, and that is the magic of the Zan level or even the Earth level. After all, with Lu Juyuan's background, he can easily master this level of magic. At this time, the Lu family only has the only direct descendant of Lu Juyuan, so it makes sense for Lu Chengsheng to hand over all the magical and martial arts he learned on the road to Lu Juyuan. Ahem, okay, let's go first. After all, the first phase is about to begin. The first phase is only for today. If you don't participate today, you will be automatically eliminated. Li Xuanren said at this time, and then threw a piece of information about the first stage of the battle to Lu Juyuan and others, and their opponent was a country called Wanfan Country. Without hesitation, Li Xuanren led Lu Juyuan and others directly towards the venue of the 100 Nations competition. At the same time, in a wild area of Tianquan Kingdom, there was a strange building standing here. Although it didn't look very big from the outside, there was a grotto heaven inside. And here, it was 100 the scene of the National University competition. Although it has not yet come to the start time, all major participating countries have already arrived at the scene and are waiting. Firstly, they need to be familiar with the environment, and secondly, they want to see what their opponents look like. After all, the first stage is a single battle, so observing the opponent in advance is naturally the most important thing. When Lu Juyuan and others arrived outside the building, they couldn't help but be surprised. This building is at least an Earth-level spiritual building. It even uses space formations to expand the space in it, so as to achieve maximum space use with the smallest area. Lu Juyuan said with some surprise. With his current knowledge, he can naturally see the wonder of this kind of building. Although it does not look very big from the outside, the space inside is hundreds of millions of cubic kilometers in size. It can be seen that Tianquan, the country's heritage, is profound. Li Xuanren was also a little surprised that Lu Juyuan actually knew, but he still explained. Yes, this building was built by Tianling Lingju Store. It is said that hundreds of millions of top-quality spiritual stones were spent on the original construction, which shows the arrogance of King Tianquan. But the most important thing now is to go in first. After all, the game is about to start. After Li Xuanren said that, he directly led Lu Juyuan and others to the front of the arena. After showing their identity documents, they successfully entered the venue of the 100 Kingdoms competition. Is this the scene of the 100 Kingdoms competition? I saw that there were hundreds of arenas in the 100 Kingdoms competition venue, and the size of each arena reached thousands of square kilometers. After all, there are beings in the Yuanying stage, and thousands of kilometers is the maximum range that monks in the Yuanying stage can attack. Of course, there is also a referee arranged by King Tianquan on each stage, and their cultivation levels are all around the integration stage. To deal with some geniuses under the age of 30, the judges in the combined stage are enough. Even if they have the status of a mortal emperor, it is absolutely impossible to break through to the combined stage at the age of 30. Let's go, our arena is arena number 9. After Li Xuanren said that, his spiritual consciousness quickly found arena number 9, and then led Lu Juyuan and others to arena number 9. They saw that in front of arena number 9, people from the Wanfan Kingdom had been waiting here for a long time. Are you here? I thought you gave up. A prodigy from the 10,000 Petals Kingdom shrugged his shoulders disdainfully, and Lu Juyuan's eyes could clearly see the other person's cultivation. He was a peak gold core. As for the remaining 4 geniuses, they are all at the peak of gold core. It seems that there is no need for him to take action. After all, Lu Juyuan can feel that they will not be the opponents of Li Tian and others. There is also the most important thing, that is, wherever someone plays cards and directly throws Wang Zha out, Lu Juyuan naturally disdains to fight with them. If I were still in the foundation building stage, I might fight them, but now, everyone is not on the same level, so naturally they don't bother to take action. To deal with you, we will not give up, but we hope that you can block our attacks next time. Li Tian stood up and said with a cold snort, naturally he would not show weakness in front of others. And the genius said disdainfully after hearing what Li Tian said, I hope your strength can be as tough as your words. Obviously, as a genius, everyone has absolute arrogance in their hearts. Unless they are defeated, they will never give in. A beautiful female monk standing on the side said to Li Xuanren with a smile. Fellow Taoist Li, I think you won't take the fight between juniors to heart. Obviously, this is the king of the 10,000 Petals Kingdom, and Li Xuanren naturally knows the other person, the king of 100 Flowers, the king of the 10,000 Petals Kingdom, and his cultivation is in the late stage of transcending tribulation. Obviously, the other party did not realize that Li Xuanren had broken through to the Mahayana stage, otherwise he would not have acted so calmly. That's natural, but I can't guarantee anything if they start fighting later. Li Xuanren said with a smile. These words made King Baihua's lips twitch, but he still said with a smile. That's natural. Okay, now please invite both players to the ring. At this moment, the referee on the ring spoke, and Li Xuanren and Baihua Wang also ordered their respective geniuses to go up to the ring. Haha, there are quite a lot of seedlings this time. There are actually almost 10 nascent soul stages. At the height of the arena, the landowner King Tianquan naturally appeared here, and also appeared here, the worshippers of Tianquan Kingdom. After seeing the battle below, King Tianquan couldn't help but said with satisfaction. With so many seedlings going in, he didn't know if he could successfully take out the inheritance. Of course, Wang Xiao and Wang Tang's father and son were also present here. But Wang Tang's face was full of anger at this time. He came here today just for one thing, and that was to kill Lu Juyuan. How's it going, son? Have you found each other? Wang Xiao looked at Wang Tang and asked, while Wang Tang's eyes kept wandering around the ring, for fear of missing his enemy. And soon, Wang Tang finally found Lu Juyuan on the ring and said to his father excitedly. Father, it's him, it's him. After saying that, he pointed at Lu Juyuan. At this time, Lu Juyuan also sensed something. He raised his head and looked at the top of the ring, but he didn't see anything. After all, there was a formation set up by the Heavenly Formation Master above the ring. Even the monks in the Transcending Tribulation stage may not be able to see what is behind the formation. Juyuan, what's wrong? Li Qingping stood next to Lu Juyuan, noticed Lu Juyuan's strangeness and asked curiously, but Lu Juyuan just shook his head. It's okay, it's just an illusion. With Lu Juyuan's perception, he could naturally sense it. If he thought about it carefully, he would know that the senior officials of Tianquan Kingdom should be watching from above. Although Lu Juyuan's strength is transcendent, he can surpass 1 or even 2 realms to kill enemies, but he still seems a little frightened when facing heaven-level formations. Li Xuanren was a little surprised. He could see King Tianquan and others behind the formation, but he didn't say anything after seeing through it. At the same time, the referee slowly spoke out the rules. This battle is a single-player battle. Each side sends one person to fight. If someone on one side dies or voluntarily surrenders, the person will be replaced automatically. The person who surrenders voluntarily will lose the qualification to fight again. Fight in this way until no one from one side comes forward, and the winning side can advance to the second round. Are you clear? The referee spoke, and people on both sides nodded. After they all nodded, the referee also spoke. Now please send out the first player from both sides. At the same time, above the ring, after identifying the enemy, Wang Xiao came to King Tianquan without hesitation and said respectfully. Your Majesty, I have a request. The original king of Tianquan was watching the battle on the ring. When he was disturbed by Wang Xiao, he couldn't help but frown, but he thought that the opponent was Mahayana's late cultivation level, which was considered a high-end one for Tianquan Kingdom. Fighting strength, he took a deep breath and said. Wang Iching, please tell me. Wang Xiao said without hesitation. Your Majesty, my son was bullied by a foreign monk with a guard behind him, but I was not there at the time. It happened that I met the person who bullied my son here this time, so I want to apply for something with your Majesty, that is you allow my son to have a life and death battle with that thief. Just kidding, his son was trained very powerfully by his monk in the late stage of Mahayana. Even a monk in the early stage of nascent soul may not be his son's opponent. In addition, Wang Xiao can barely sense that the other party's cultivation level is still in gold core. Expect. Then he became even more unscrupulous, and then decided on a life and death battle. At the nascent soul stage, my son Wang Tang is invincible. After hearing Wang Xiao's words, King Tianquan couldn't help but frown and said lightly. Wang Xiao, are you sure you want to decide on a life and death battle? You must know that if you decide on a life and death battle in front of me, I will not allow you to take action even if your son loses. I'm sure, please agree, Your Majesty, I want to kill that thief with my own hands. At this moment, Wang Tang came over and said with fighting spirit, since Wang Tang has spoken, what else can King Tianquan do, so he could only shake his head and agree. But the competition has already started at this time, so after the first stage of the competition is over, I will go down and arrange a life and death battle for you. Wang Tang naturally would not refuse and said respectfully, "It's all at your majesty's discretion." At this time, Wang Tang still didn't know how powerful Lu Juyuan was, and what was waiting for him. "Everyone, let me go first. After all, they are nothing." Chen Yuan was the first to speak. As the most belligerent among them, he naturally wanted to be the first to go up. And he could also feel that the 5 prodigies from Wanpet Kingdom were not very strong either. "Well, if that's the case, then you go ahead, remember to be careful, and surrender if you can't beat me." Lu Juyuan explained that after all, he was from the Yuanwu Kingdom, so it would be best if he could survive. "That's natural." Chen Yuan smiled and then jumped directly to the center of the ring, where the referee had been waiting for a long time. The person sent from the opposite side was a strong man with tendons. The moment he saw the other person, Chen Yuan couldn't help but get excited. At first glance, he saw that the other party was a body-refining cultivator who was following the same path as himself, and the list of names on the other side had already been memorized by Lu Juyuan and others. This strong man is named Li Zhen. When he saw Chen Yuan, Li Zhen smiled ferociously. "Boy, I will blow your head off with one punch later." Chen Yuan just shook his head. A strong person would not bother talking to a weak person, and the other party had already killed him, so Chen Yuan would naturally not hold back. Game start. Following the referee's order, the next second as Li Zhen exerted force with his feet, his whole body turned into an afterimage and attacked Chen Yuan. In just a few seconds, Li Zhen came to Chen Yuan, raised his fist and hit Chen Yuan's head. Obviously, he said he was going to blow up Chen Yuan's head, so he was going to blow up Chen Yuan's head. Just when his fist was about to hit Chen Yuan finally moved. I saw Chen Yuan also raising his huge fist, and the next second their fists smashed together, causing terrifying waves that shattered the ground 1 kilometer around. And Li Zhen's face also became solemn. He could feel that Chen Yuan's strength was not inferior to his own or even much better than his own. However, body-refining cultivators were never the ones to give up when faced with difficulties. After seeing how powerful Chen Yuan was, Li Zhen also laughed. "Boy, the stronger you are, the more accomplished I will be when I kill you later." After saying that, the attacks like a storm came towards Chen Yuan, but Chen Yuan did not panic at all and blocked them one by one. At the same time, Li Tian and others behind were also curious about this scene, and Zhang Chengfeng looked at Lu Juyuan and asked curiously, "Brother Lu, what do you think about this matter?" "What do I think? Li Zhen will be killed by Chen Yuan within 100 moves. Lu Juyuan shook his head and said calmly, "With his current strength, it would not be difficult to tell." Zhang Chengfeng and others also looked a little surprised on their faces. But they didn't think Chen Yuan could really end the battle within 100 moves. After all, although Li Zhen didn't seem to be Chen Yuan's opponent, he wasn't such a waste. Lu Juyuan just smiled and said nothing, and he would find out later. Li Xuanren was also a little surprised, and he could naturally tell. If Li Zhen didn't surrender based on the current situation, he would be killed by Chen Yuan. But he was a little surprised that Lu Juyuan could actually see it, and the result was similar to what he had guessed. In the center of the ring, Chen Yuan and Li Zhen were in a fierce battle, but it seemed that Chen Yuan had an absolute advantage, while Li Zhen was a little exhausted. "No, I have to surrender. If this continues, I will be beaten to death." Li Zhen thought with an ugly look on his face. The reason why he fought for so long was just because he wanted to consume Chen Yuan's energy and give his teammates a chance to win. Chen Yuan could naturally see what Li Zhen was thinking. He was just here to cultivate immortality. If he said he would kill you, he would kill you. With the violent storm attacking, Li Zhen didn't even have the chance to shout out and surrender. "The time has come, Overlord and Emperor Fist." Seeing that the time was up, Chen Yuan shouted loudly and punched out with all his strength. Under this punch, Li Zhen had no resistance, and his body was blown to pieces and he died on the spot. When the people of the Wanfan Kingdom not far away saw this scene, their faces became ugly. Obviously, in their eyes, this was not a provocation. Following Li Zhen's death, a young man soon flew to the center of the ring and bowed slightly. "I have been granted the title of Shu by the Wanpatan Kingdom, please give me some advice." After saying that, Feng Yusho drew out a long sword and struck at Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan naturally saw how powerful the opponent was and couldn't help but frown. It seems that my wish to clear the level in one life cannot be realized. But it's still okay to consume a little bit of Feng Yusho's strength. Thinking of this, Chen Yuan attacked Feng Yusho. The physical body of the body refining monk was extremely powerful, no less than a weapon to some extent, and the long sword in Feng Yusho's hand was only at the peak of the Zan level. Chen Yuan should be careful. You can still avoid getting hurt. Who's on next? When Feng Yusho appeared on the stage, Lu Juyuan spoke, while Li Tian and Zhang Chengfeng said in unison. Let me. Obviously, they all want to have a chance encounter with Feng Yusho. As sword cultivators, they can feel the fierceness of Feng Yusho's swordsmanship, so naturally they want to understand it. Is this like this? If both of you want to go up, then how about rock paper scissors, whoever wins gets to go up. Lu Juyuan thought for a while and then said that he couldn't go up anyway. The strength of Li Tian and the four of them were enough to eliminate the geniuses of Wanfan Kingdom. Good. Naturally, Li Tian and Zhang Chengfeng would not refuse Lu Juyuan's words. Their faces were full of solemnity, and they took action in unison the next second. Oh, I didn't expect that I actually lost. Li Tian watched Zhang Chengfeng throw a fist, and after he pulled out the scissors, his face was full of annoyance. He would have pulled out the cloth if he had known it. The winner, Zhang Chengfeng, couldn't help but smile. It seemed that his luck was still very good. As for the other side of the arena, although Chen Yuan was physically strong, he could not withstand the top-grade Zan-class weapons. Under Feng Yusho's fierce offensive, Chen Yuan had several blood marks on his body, which looked extremely shocking. On the other side, Feng Yusho also felt that Chen Yuan had reached the end of his crossbow, so he jumped up and wanted to give Chen Yuan a killing blow. But at this moment Chen Yuan also spoke. I surrender. Feng Yusho's eyes widened in the air. Obviously, he didn't expect that Chen Yuan would come here again. It was so sinister, so sinister. As Chen Yuan spoke, the referee appeared next to Chen Yuan in the next second and took Chen Yuan out of the ring. Please send the next contestant from the Yuanwu Kingdom. As the referee finished speaking, Zhang Chengfeng appeared in the center of the ring the next second. Your Excellency's sword is very strong, why not come and let me experience it? After Zhang Chengfeng finished speaking, he took out his own sword. Like Feng Yusho's, it was also a top-grade Zan-level long sword. After Feng Yusho on the other side saw Zhang Chengfeng, the fighting spirit belonging to the sword cultivator surged up in his heart. The next second, the two people rushed towards each other in unison, and a battle between sword cultivators also began. It's just that the two of them are equally powerful, and no one can do anything about the other for a while. Feng Yusho's sword, Law Manifestation, is quite sufficient for Zhang Chengfeng's killing power, but Zhang Chengfeng's defense is watertight, leaving Feng Yusho with no chance at all. Brother Lu, who do you think can win between the two? At this time, Li Tian leaned his head to Lu Juyuan's side and asked, while Lu Juyuan shook his head and said, Cheng Feng can win, but the opponent Feng Yusho wants to win too much. According to the current trend, Feng Yusho will soon reveal his flaws, and Cheng Feng can defeat or even kill him. Don't look at Feng Yusho chasing Zhang Chengfeng now, but if you look carefully, you can see that Zhang Chengfeng was not injured at all. On the contrary, Feng Yusho had a few blood marks on his body. Feng Yusho naturally knew this, but his heart became more and more anxious at this time, and even his own steps became a little messy. The King of Flowers could naturally tell it, but even though she was anxious, she couldn't speak to remind her. After all, the referee was watching. If she spoke, Feng Yusho would be regarded as cheating and be directly eliminated. Chaotic Fallen Immortal Slash. Seeing Zhang Chengfeng reveal a flaw, Feng Yusho took action without hesitation in the next second. The long sword carried sharp sword energy and attacked Zhang Chengfeng. But he didn't expect that Zhang Chengfeng would have a smile on his face at this time. What I've been waiting for is for you to take action now. Qian Tian Wan Shuzan. When Feng Yusho's left hand was approaching Zhang Chengfeng took action decisively. What? Not good. Feng Yusho screamed in his heart, but he couldn't stop it at all. As a flash of light passed by, Feng Yushou's left hand holding the sword was cut off by Zhang Chengfeng's sword, and huge pain instantly swept through Feng Yushou's body. Feng Yushou, on the other hand, quickly retreated and came to a relatively safe place. His face was pale and his eyes were staring at Zhang Chengfeng. But just when he raised his head, Zhang Chengfeng also disappeared, followed by a terrifying murderous aura behind Feng Yushou. What? How could he have such terrifying murderous intent? Feng Yushou said in disbelief, but at this time, he could not react at all, and his head was chopped off by Zhang Chengfeng's sword. The winner, Zhang Chengfeng from the Yuanwu Kingdom, please invite the next contestant from the Wanfan Kingdom to take the stage. The referee said calmly, and at this time, the Baihua King's face had already turned gloomy to the extreme. She did not expect that their 10,000-petal kingdom would lose two geniuses so quickly. You must know that these two are both heaven-level qualifications. If he didn't die, he would definitely be able to break through to the integration or even the transcending tribulation stage, but he didn't expect to fall here. Do we have to admit defeat? The King of Flowers thought helplessly in his heart, and Li Zhen and Feng Yushou who were sent earlier were already the two strongest in this trip. If they were sent here again, it would not change the final outcome at all. Thinking of this, the King of Flowers sighed helplessly. We admit defeat, Your Majesty, the remaining three geniuses said in disbelief, while the King of Flowers just said lightly. If you are absolutely confident of winning, then go ahead. After saying that, the King of Flowers turned around and left. The other three geniuses looked extremely ugly when they saw this, but in the end they could only follow the King of Flowers and leave. After all, judging from their previous performance, they would probably die if they went up there. It's just one piece, it's better to follow the King of Flowers and leave. After seeing King Baihua and others leaving, the referee calmly came to Li Xuanren. Congratulations on your advancement. Come back here in 3 days to participate in the second stage of the competition. After the referee finished speaking, he was about to turn around and leave, but at this moment, several figures appeared on the ring, causing many monks who were in the 100 Kingdoms competition to be attracted by the situation here. Among them, Li Xuanren and Lu Juyuan felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. They could feel the power of the people who appeared. It was no exaggeration to say that the other party could kill them all with just a wave of their hands. Lu Juyuan and others also noticed Wang Tang on the side and couldn't help but frown. Could this be Wang Tang's backer? There is probably only one person who dares to come out so blatantly, and that is King Tianquan. As expected, Li Xuanren said respectfully. I've seen King Tianquan. Although he has now broken through to the Mahayana stage and has narrowed the distance from King Tianquan, there is still a big gap between him and King Tianquan, so Li Xuanren bowed without hesitation. I remember you were Li Xuanren, right? I didn't expect that within a few hundred years you would break through from the peak of transcending tribulation to the Mahayana stage. This talent is terrifying. King Tianquan smiled and said, while Li Xuanren said humbly. This kind of breakthrough speed is nothing in front of King Tianquan. I wonder why King Tianquan is here. It's okay, I just heard that someone is bullying the people of my Tianquan kingdom. As the leader of the country, I can't stand it, so I stand up and want to get an explanation. What do you think, little friend? King Tianquan smiled, and then looked at Lu Juyuan aside. Facing the terrifying King Tianquan, Lu Juyuan did not panic at all, and stood up and spoke in a neither humble nor condescending manner. His Majesty King Tianquan is right, I also hate people who bully others. Hearing Lu Juyuan's words, King Tianquan couldn't help but frown, and then looked at Wang Tang and Wang Xiao aside. It seemed that these two father and son were dishonest. But he only stood up as the referee of their life and death situation. Thinking of this, King Tianquan said lightly. Wang Tang, didn't you say you have something to say? Say it and I will make the decision for you. As King Tianquan finished speaking, Wang Tang stood up and said angrily the next second. Boy, I'm going to challenge you to a duel. Hearing this, Lu Juyuan couldn't help but froze in place. He was worried about how to kill Wang Tang, but he didn't expect that the other party would actually come to his door. You sure? Lu Juyuan asked again in disbelief, but Wang Tang didn't say anything more and jumped directly into the ring, looking at Lu Juyuan with a menacing look. If you are a real man, come up and fight to the death, but even if you don't come up, I will take your life without hesitation. How could Lu Juyuan still sit still and wait for death when the other party provoked him? Lu Juyuan turned into an afterimage and appeared not far from Wang Tang the next second. Wang Tang's pupils couldn't help but shrink when he saw this scene. It seems that this guy is not that simple. Of course, the most shocked among them was Wang Xiao. When Lu Juyuan took action, he could sense that Lu Juyuan was no longer inferior to some of the top gold core players in terms of speed. But so what, his son has a trump card in his hand. Could it be that he is not a top gold core opponent of a fifth-rate force? At this moment, Lu Juyuan calmly stretched out his hand, waved towards Wang Tang and said, "Since you propose the duel, I will let you make 3 moves first. After 3 moves, I will take action." Lu Juyuan's arrogant words made Wang Tang get angry and roared angrily. "Boy, stop looking down on others. Since you asked me to take action first, I will let you know what life is worse than death. Purple Yuan poison ivy is entangled." Wang Tang will naturally not underestimate Lu Juyuan, so he will use 50% of his strength when he makes a move, so he will test it out first. Following Wang Tang's order, countless vines attacked Lu Juyuan from under his feet. You could tell at a glance from their dark purple appearance that they should be poisonous. Facing Wang Tang's blow, Lu Juyuan just stood there calmly and did not move. He said he would follow Wang Tang's 3 moves. And with Wang Tang's methods, Lu Juyuan didn't think Wang Tang could hurt him. After all, not long ago, he had cultivated 5 profound-grade top-grade defensive magic and 1 heaven-level low-grade defensive magic to the great accomplishment. It is no exaggeration to say that even if Lu Juyuan stood still, the monk in the early stage of nascent soul would they may not be able to break his defense. Li Tian and others on the side couldn't help but feel a little nervous after seeing this scene, but they didn't show anything on their faces. They all believed in Lu Juyuan's strength. After all, if they face Wang Tang, they have a certain chance of winning, but if they face Lu Juyuan, I'm sorry, they really don't feel the possibility of winning. Li Qingping's face on the other side was full of worry, and then she came to Li Xuanren and asked worriedly, "Father, what exactly is a duel before the emperor?" Hearing this, Li Tian and others couldn't help but turn their heads and see that it was obvious that they didn't know. Li Xuanren smiled and said, "The so-called duel in front of the emperor is a battle that allows King Tianquan to act as justice and is fought under the eyes of King Tianquan. The duel in front of the emperor is also called a duel to the death. Once it starts, someone is bound to die. Of course, if you want to survive, there is another possibility, and that is to be stronger than King Tianquan. The duel in front of the emperor cannot be started casually. Once it is started, people must die." After hearing Li Xuanren's words, Li Qingping and others breathed a sigh of relief. They did not believe that Wang Tang could hurt Lu Juyuan. Of course, the only thing they needed to worry about was whether King Tianquan would break his promise. On the other side, Wang Tang couldn't help laughing when he saw that Lu Juyuan still hadn't moved. "Ha ha ha, kid, even a gold core player of the same level may not be able to block this move of mine. I think you are seeking death." After saying that, the thick wisteria wrapped up Lu Juyuan and completely disappeared. Wang Tang did not hesitate to increase the intensity of the wisteria to drive Lu Juyuan away. But at this moment, Wang Tang felt something and looked at wisteria with a look of disbelief. He saw Lu Juyuan slowly and leisurely walking out of the surroundings. When wisteria approached him, he was hit by an invisible force. The force blocked it. Of course, Lu Juyuan was still exuding a faint golden light at this time. "This is the ultimate Zon-level magic, Golden Light Curse," Wang Xiao said with some surprise. "You must know that even he does not have this immortal technique, which shows how precious this immortal technique is, and it is said that one can block the attack of the peak of the body after cultivating it to the peak level." Although Lu Juyuan in front of him had only cultivated to great accomplishment, it was enough to block Wang Tang's attack. Wang Tang seemed stunned for a moment, but soon burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha, okay, originally I was afraid that I would beat you to death if I used too much force, but now it seems that we can have some fun." Purple Sky Lightning Strike. I saw Wang Tang quickly making moves. In just a few seconds, a black calamity cloud appeared in the sky above them. Terrifying thunder and lightning were constantly swimming in it, and every ray was enough to strike. Killing the monks in the early stage of Gold Core, not to mention the tens of thousands of thunder and lightning in them. "Cut it." Wang Tang shouted loudly, and with a command, a thunderbolt as thick as a bucket of water struck down towards Lu Juyuan, instantly submerging Lu Juyuan in the sea of thunder. Seeing this scene, Wang Tang subconsciously thought that it was safe, while Li Xuanren and others were full of confidence. After all, they could block an attack of this level, let alone Lu Juyuan. Wang Xiao's expression became serious at this time, and he saw Lu Juyuan bathed in thunder and lightning, calmly walking out of the sea of thunder. Now as the second move, you still have one chance. Lu Juyuan said calmly, his tone was like announcing Wang Tang's death. Wang Tang was stunned for a moment, but soon realized that if he didn't use all his strength, he would definitely die today. Thinking of this, Wang Tang suddenly stamped his feet towards the ground, and then the surrounding ground collapsed. Wake it up for me. I heard Wang Tang shouting violently, and then a huge stone with a diameter of more than 30 kilometers slowly rose from the earth, and then flew to an altitude of dozens of kilometers. Boy, if you can survive this move, then I will be convinced of your defeat. Earth explosion star. I heard Wang Tang's face full of anger, and he directly dropped the huge stone. The terrifying deterrent force made Li Tian and others frown. If they come, they may not be able to stop them. Of course, Lu Juyuan's face is still as calm as ever. I told you, you and I are not on the same level at all. What do you mean? He doesn't think he can continue, does he? Wang Tang's face in the air couldn't help but look ugly. This blow was a blow based on his absolute strength. Even a monk in the early stage of nascent soul didn't dare to say that he could follow it easily. He didn't believe that Lu Juyuan could take over. But Lu Juyuan just stood there calmly, saying that he would take 3 moves from Wang Tang, and then he would take 3 moves from Wang Tang. As the huge meteorite fell, if King Tianquan hadn't taken action, the entire space within the arena would have been destroyed. At the same time, after seeing the meteorite submerging Lu Juyuan, Wang Tang laughed excitedly. Ha ha ha, how could a piece of trash be my opponent? How could it be possible? But before the words could be spoken, Lu Juyuan calmly flew out of the deep pit caused by the meteorite. At this time, Wang Tang was completely panicked. He had taken action without reservation, but Lu Juyuan's defense was not broken. Lu Juyuan's clothes were not even damaged at this time. After flying out of the pit, Lu Juyuan looked at Wang Tang with an indifferent expression and said, "You've finished taking action, it should be my turn next." After saying that, Lu Juyuan lightly performed a hand gesture, and the next second the entire ground began to shake violently. And a few seconds later, only countless thick black vines were seen extending from the ground and attacking Wang Tang in the air. Not good. This is the ultimate earth-level magic, dark poison ivy. Wang Xiao said in disbelief when he saw the poison ivy extending out from under the earth, and judging from the extent of Lu Juyuan's actions, I am afraid that they have already reached the level of basic accomplishment or even great accomplishment. At the same time, Wang Tang, who was in the air, did not sit still and wait for death. It's not that easy to kill me. Wind slash. Wang Tang roared angrily, and then swung out several sword energy to attack the poison ivy, but after cutting the poison ivy, it only left a hole, and did not even stop the action. What? Wang Tang's face was full of shock. When he was about to dodge, he was directly grabbed by a poison ivy, and a strong feeling of powerlessness suddenly hit him. Lu Juyuan was seen controlling the poison ivy and swinging Wang Tang towards the ground, creating a huge deep pit in a short time. Wang Tang was lying on the deep pit, and he was about to fall. Seeing this scene, Wang Xiao couldn't sit still at all. He was joking, he was just a heir, how could he watch Wang Tang fall? Boy, I think there should be family or something like that behind you. You know, the Dao Emperor Zan continent is full of dangers, and you don't want anything to happen to them. The tone was full of naked threats, and King Tianquan snorted coldly after hearing it. Wang Chongfang, do you think I don't exist? After Wang Xiao heard this, he couldn't help but break out in cold sweat, and he quickly said respectfully, "Don't dare," but the look in Lu Juyuan's eyes was still full of threats. It just so happened that Lu Juyuan was a man who was soft-spoken but not tough. Threats. I like threats the most. If that's the case, then let me see if your son can resist my next move. 9 Heavens Thunder Method. Lu Juyuan stamped his feet, and suddenly a calamity cloud that was more terrifying than the purple sky lightning strike summoned by Wang Tang appeared in the sky. After seeing this calamity cloud, King Tianquan's eyes couldn't help but become solemn, and he murmured. This is immortal law. It's still the best immortal law. It's only one step away from transforming into a holy law. You must know that this is the top immortal law. Even the highest level immortal law he has mastered is only the middle grade immortal law. For a moment, he couldn't help but feel a little suspicious of Lu Juyuan, but when this thought came up, he didn't know why he had an ominous premonition. In addition, if you think of someone who can master such a terrifying thunder method, how could he not have a little bit of background behind it? Thinking of this, King Tianquan looked at Li Xuanren with a smile and said, Li fellow Taoist, it seems that this little friend Lu has an extraordinary background. Li Xuanren naturally knew that King Tianquan wanted to know the origin of Lu Juyuan, so he shook his head and said helplessly, Lu Xiaoyu's origin is naturally extraordinary, but I can't tell you. After all, I can't afford to offend the family behind Lu Xiaoyu. After hearing Li Xuanren's words, King Tianquan couldn't help but be surprised, but thinking about it carefully, it seems that there is no big family named Lu in Tianling Prefecture. To be remembered by King Tianquan, the Lu family must at least have the strength to have a monk above the Mahayana stage sit in charge. Suddenly, King Tianquan also became extremely jealous of Lu Juyuan. In the air, the thunder tribulation had also been charged up. Wang Tang was lying in the deep pit, with a look of panic on his face. He wanted to escape but couldn't. The previous blow was enough. He has been destroyed. No, you can't kill me. I'm Wang Xiao's son. If you kill me, you won't survive. You don't need to worry about this. It's just that the time has come. It's time for you to hit the road. Luo. Lu Juyuan said calmly, as long as King Tianquan does not interfere, then he has no fear of Wang Xiao's revenge. Mahayana stage boss, who doesn't have this in his family? As the terrifying thunder and lightning fell, Wang Tang was also struck to pieces and disappeared into ashes. Wang Xiao's face, who was standing aside, had become gloomy to the extreme. He almost killed Lu Juyuan directly, but he knew that King Tianquan was here. If he took action, King Tianquan would definitely stop him. Your Majesty, I still have some things to do, so I won't accompany you for now. Wang Xiaozuo bowed, then gave Lu Juyuan a murderous look before disappearing. After killing Wang Tang, Lu Juyuan slowly flew in front of Li Xuanren and others. King Tianquan came to Lu Juyuan and asked with a smile on his face. Little friend Lu looks like a talented person. I wonder if little friend Lu is married. Obviously, the powerful Lu Juyuan was favored by King Tianquan and wanted to marry Lu Juyuan. After all, he had dozens of granddaughters under his command, and his appearance was still very awesome. Hearing this, before Lu Juyuan spoke, Li Qingping on the side became a little anxious, but Lu Juyuan just smiled and said, There is no need for King Tianquan to worry about this. I already have a sweetheart. After hearing this, Li Qingping breathed a sigh of relief, but became curious again. Is his sweetheart him? King Tianquan on the other side couldn't help but say after hearing Lu Juyuan's answer. Little friend Lu, you probably don't mind having 3 wives and 4 concubines. Hearing this, Lu Juyuan felt sleepy for a moment, but after noticing Li Qingping's murderous eyes on his side, Lu Juyuan changed his tune. Your Majesty, I am more dedicated, and the place in my heart is too small. I can only accommodate one person. King Tianquan looked slightly disappointed, but after thinking about it he still said. If little friend Lu has an idea in the future, there are still many stunning beauties in our Tianquan country. Little friend Lu only needs to ask, and I will send them to your door directly. Ahem, cough, let's talk about this later. I'm a little exhausted physically and mentally after the battle, and I want to take a rest. After saying that, Lu Juyuan quickly gave Li Xuanren a look of help, and Li Xuanren stepped forward without hesitation. Just kidding, Lu Juyuan was the son-in-law he had chosen, how could he watch helplessly as King Tianquan snatched him away? Your Majesty King Tianquan, since the competition is over, we won't disturb you anymore. It just so happens that the juniors also need a good rest, so we will leave first. After Li Xuanren said this, he took Lu Juyuan and others out of here. Naturally, King Tianquan did not stop them. After Li Xuanren and others left, the worshippers standing next to King Tianquan said with some concern. Your Majesty, Wang Xiao's only heir died here. I'm afraid this matter will not lead to peace. King Tianquan just raised his head and said thoughtfully. There is no need to worry about this matter. I can feel that the boy surnamed Lu may not be so simple. He may not be the one who suffers. Hearing King Tianquan's words, the worshippers present could not help but be surprised. They had been with Wang Xiao for a long time, so they naturally knew how strong Wang Xiao was. It is no exaggeration to say that if nothing unexpected happens, there are few opponents in the same realm. On the other hand, Li Xuanren, who just broke through to the Mahayana stage not long ago, how could he be Wang Xiao's opponent? If you don't believe it, just wait and see. King Tianquan laughed and then disappeared on the spot, and the surrounding battles also ended one after another. After returning to Longmo Mountain, Li Qingping began to care about Lu Juyuan without hesitation. Are you okay? That guy looks very strong. Seeing Li Qingping's worried look, Lu Juyuan couldn't help laughing, then touched Li Qingping's little head and said, "Don't worry, even the real nascent soul stage is no match for me, so what can a mere gold core peak level do?" Li Qingping's face turned red, but it seemed that she was too when she thought about it, while Li Xuanren on the other side coughed and said, "Little friend Lu, you still need to be careful during this period. At least don't go out. After all, you killed Wang Xiao's only heir. He will definitely not let it go. Stay in Longmo Mountain, and at least the other party won't do anything." After all, Li Xuanren didn't know how powerful the amnesty that Lu Chengsheng left to Lu Juyuan was, and Wang Xiao was truly the pinnacle of Mahayana. "Well, I know." Lu Juyuan also nodded seriously. He naturally knew that with his current strength, it would be best not to go out. Although it is said that there is great luck, but one does not know how it will manifest itself. In the end, it is naturally best to remain unchanged in response to all changes. As for you, let's settle down here. It's best to prevent Juyuan from taking action during the team competition in 3 days. After Li Xuanren explained to Lu Juyuan, he turned to look at Li Tian and others and said, and Li Tian and others nodded. With Lu Juyuan's strength, if they could enter the immortal burial secret realm, they would not be able to take first place. At the same time, on the other side, after leaving the venue, Wang Xiao returned to his mansion, came to Wang Tang's bed and sat down, his eyes full of love for Wang Tang. But then he thought that Wang Tang had already been killed, and a terrifying rage burst out from his body, destroying everything in the room. "Wait a minute, son. As a father, I will definitely let that guy go and stay with you after going through all kinds of torture. Definitely." After Wang Tang was killed, he and Lu Juyuan were in a fight to the death. At this time, he couldn't care about Lu Juyuan's origin. As long as he found the opportunity, Lu Juyuan would definitely die. At the same time, although Lu Juyuan knew that he was probably being noticed, he couldn't care less. After returning from the battle with Wang Tang, he felt that his cultivation had reached a bottleneck, so he should need to break through next. Lu Juyuan sat down in his room without hesitation. He had already told Li Xuanren and others before starting the retreat. They were naturally extremely excited when they found out. After all, every time Lu Juyuan broke through a small realm, their chances of winning the first place were greater. What shocked them was that Lu Juyuan seemed to have only broken through to the gold core stage almost 10 days ago. Wouldn't his foundation be unstable if he broke through to the middle gold core stage so quickly? But after releasing his aura, Li Xuanren had no objection. How could an aura of this level be said to be unstable? It feels like I spent 2.5 years in the early days of gold core. After sitting down cross-legged, Lu Juyuan mobilized the gold core all over his body. Suddenly, a dazzling light emitted from his body surface, and every dot in it symbolized a gold core. Looking carefully at the whole body, there are a total of 999 chaos gold cores. And as Lu Juyuan began to practice, a mysterious aura erupted from his entire body. At this moment, the light on his body was like the sun, and the aura on his body was like a chaotic beast from ancient times, fear. Fortunately, before practicing, Lu Juyuan had already set up several formations, so that his aura could not leak out, otherwise it might cause a lot of trouble. As time goes by, Lu Juyuan's aura is constantly strengthening, and he is heading towards the middle stage of gold core. On the other side, the Thousand Ghost King was practicing, but he felt something, and his whole body shook. "What? I actually broke through to the late stage of transcending tribulation. But before he had time to think about it, the sky above Longmo Mountain turned gloomy. The next second Li Shuangren appeared in front of the Thousand Ghost King and said solemnly, "This is not a good place for your transcending tribulation, you go somewhere else transcending tribulation." If the King of Thousand Ghosts were to transcending tribulation here, I am afraid that the entire Longmo Mountain would be destroyed. Well, I know. The Thousand Ghost King naturally knew the seriousness of the matter, so he stood up and rushed towards the other end of Longmo Mountain. Is this someone breaking through to the later stages of transcending tribulation? In Longmo Mountain, many dynasty leaders said in surprise after seeing this scene, but they were not too surprised. After all, none of the people present were at the transcending tribulation stage level. It is no exaggeration to say that a dynasty without a transcending tribulation stage is not qualified to be invited by King Tianquan. And none of them had the idea of going to take a peek. After all, the geniuses of their dynasty were all here. It would be bad if someone took advantage of them and took advantage of them if they left. The Thousand Ghost King on the other side quickly escaped to an uninhabited deep mountain forest, and Thunder Tribulation also came here shortly after. Although I am a little curious as to why the breakthrough time has been advanced so far, Thousand Ghost King has already made full plans and is naturally not afraid of Thunder Tribulation. Come directly. The Thousand Ghost King's eyes were full of fighting spirit as he followed up with the rumbling Thunder Tribulation. At this time, Lu Juyuan is also at the critical juncture of hitting the midterm gold core. However, Lu Juyuan's midterm gold core is different from others. He needs to raise the level of each gold core to the midterm. This can be regarded as the official promotion to the midterm gold core. This is undoubtedly a huge project for Lu Juyuan. After all, judging from the 5 minutes it takes him to break through each gold core, it will take him at least 4 days. Lu Juyuan had already filled the room with top-quality spiritual stones, and the terrifying spiritual energy was absorbed into his body like a tide. It is precisely because Lu Juyuan's cultivation is so powerful, otherwise so much spiritual energy would be enough to overwhelm any monk at the peak of gold core or even the early stage of nascent soul. Of course, this is inseparable from the strong support of Lu Juyuan's ancestors. It is precisely because Lu Chengsheng's spirit stones have hundreds of millions of points that Lu Juyuan can absorb the best spirit stones as ordinary spirit stones. The Thousand Ghost King on the other side was bombarded by Thunder Tribulation, and suffered a lot of injuries all over his body. Fortunately, he had some pills, so he was not killed instantly. Heavenly Demon. The Thousand Ghost King roared loudly, and monstrous demonic energy burst out from his body, and then formed a terrifying barrier in front of him, blocking all Thunder Tribulation. However, as the Thunder Tribulation continued to bombard the Heavenly Demon barrier, the face of the Thousand Ghost King continued to turn pale, seeing that the power of the final blow reached the point where the Heavenly Demon barrier could not bear it. The Thousand Ghost King gritted his teeth and spurted out a mouthful of essence and blood. As the essence and blood blessed the Heavenly Demon barrier, a dazzling and colorful darkness burst out from the Heavenly Demon barrier. The last Thunder Tribulation was completely blocked by the Heavenly Demon barrier. After being blocked, the Thousand Ghost King breathed a sigh of relief. As the Thunder Tribulation passed through, I saw waves of vibrations in the void, and golden lights emerged from the void and submerged into the body of the Thousand Ghost King. The aura of Thousand Ghost King at this time is also constantly stabilizing, and finally it is completely stable in the late stage of transcending tribulation. Is this the later stage of transcending tribulation? If we look at this speed, I'm afraid I will be able to break through to the Mahayana stage in another 1,000 years. Thousand Ghost King said with excitement, you must know that he is only over 5,000 years old now, and he will only be over 6,000 years old in another 1,000 years. The Mahayana stage, which is more than 6,000 years old, is so terrifying. In the eyes of Mahayana stage, 6,000 years is just the size of a 6-year-old child. After all, Mahayana stage's lifespan reaches 1,000,000 years. After breaking through to the late stage of transcending tribulation, Thousand Ghost King couldn't help but remember something. During his previous training, he seemed to be affected by some special power, and then he broke through to the late stage of transcending tribulation. Could it be the young master? But the young master is only at the early stage of gold core. Can there really be a way for me to break through to the late stage of transcending tribulation? After constant investigation in the mind of the Thousand Ghost King, he finally identified Lu Juyuan as his target. After all, judging from the current situation, it seemed that only the unfathomable Lu Juyuan could make a breakthrough for him. After thinking about Lu Juyuan, Thousand Ghost King couldn't help but become curious. Did Lu Juyuan successfully break through to the middle stage of Gold Core? Although time passes quickly in the eyes of readers, the Thousand Ghost King has been transcending tribulation for 3 full days. Thinking of this, the Thousand Ghost King flew towards Longmo Mountain without hesitation. In a few seconds, he returned to Longmo Mountain. After seeing the return of the Thousand Ghost King, Li Xuanren just congratulated him symbolically, but the Thousand Ghost King didn't pay attention and quickly looked at Lu Juyuan's room. I saw that the door of Lu Juyuan's room was still closed. Young master, haven't you come out of seclusion yet? Thousand Ghost King asked worriedly. Li Xuanren just shook his head. There's only half an hour before the team battle. I don't know if Lu Xiaoyu can catch up. If it's not in time, then we can only let the 4 of them, Li Tian and the others. Although it is a bit embarrassing, with the strength of Li Tian and the 4 of them, it may not be impossible to win at a small price. While everyone was waiting anxiously, the door to the room was slowly opened. Lu Juyuan's face was full of sighs, and Li Qingping asked with some concern. Juyuan, did you fail to break through successfully? Lu Juyuan just shook his head and said, no, it's a breakthrough, but it's not a complete breakthrough. Hearing Lu Juyuan's words, Li Xuanren and others present were a little confused. They had only heard that a large realm could reach half a step, but they had never heard of such a saying that a small realm could reach half a step. Lu Juyuan didn't say much, he just released his own aura. After feeling Lu Juyuan's aura, Li Xuanren and others couldn't help but be surprised. They can feel that Lu Juyuan is on the edge of the early and middle stages of Gold Core at this time. In a sense, this is indeed a half step to the middle stage of Gold Core. But even if there is no breakthrough, it is still easy to deal with a small team battle. Lu Juyuan said with confidence, and Li Xuanren no longer hesitated at this time, pulling Lu Juyuan to take Li Tian and others to the venue. This is the second stage. If they can win, then Lu Juyuan and others will be able to enter the Immortal Burial Secret Realm. You must know that the Immortal Burial Secret Realm is full of natural resources and treasures, and it is also full of temptations for them today. At the same time, outside Longmo Mountain, Wang Xiao's eyes were red. He had been waiting outside Longmo Mountain for 3 days and 3 nights, if he hadn't been afraid of the rules set by King Tianquan not to fight inside Longmo Mountain. I'm afraid Wang Xiao would have gone in and killed Lu Juyuan long ago. HMPH, the team battle is about to begin. I want to see if you can get out. Wang Xiao said fiercely, but at this moment, an afterimage flashed in front of him. On the way, Li Xuanren felt something and shot behind him with all his strength. Bang! Suddenly, a powerful wave shocked Lu Juyuan and others, and looking behind him, who else could it be if it wasn't Wang Xiao who made the sneak attack earlier? At this time, Wang Xiao's face was also full of surprise. Although he did not use all his strength in the previous blow, it was definitely not something that a statue that had broken through to the early stage of Mahayana not long ago could block. How dare you take action? Aren't you afraid that King Tianquan will blame you? Li Xuanren said with an angry expression, while Wang Xiao had already fallen into a state of madness and roared angrily. Blame, I have lost everything. I will leave Tianquan Kingdom when I kill you. Tianling State is so big, even King Tianquan can do nothing to me. Seeing that Wang Xiao had lost his mind, Li Xuanren's face turned ugly, and he turned to look at the Thousand Ghost King and explained. Qiangui, you take them to the venue. Once there, Wang Xiao won't dare to take action. You go first, and I'll stop him. After hearing Li Xuanren's words, Li Qingping stood up and said with an anxious look on her face. Father, you are no match for him. Let's go quickly. Although I'm no match for him, he won't be able to keep me if I leave. Besides, if I'm not wrong, King Tianquan should have sensed the fluctuations here. You staying here will only distract me. Li Xuanren couldn't help but become anxious at this time. Naturally, the Thousand Ghost King did not hesitate when he saw this. He kidnapped Lu Juyuan and others and rushed towards the venue of the 100 Kingdoms competition. After seeing Lu Juyuan and others leaving, Wang Xiaodang's eyes turned red even if he wanted to keep Lu Juyuan at all costs. But at this moment, a spear appeared in front of him out of thin air and stopped Wang Xiao. If you want to walk over, then kill me first. Li Xuanren, dressed in white clothes, said calmly, showing his royal aura. Since you are looking for death, then I can only kill you. Wang Xiao said angrily, and then he and Li Xuanren fought together, but with just one blow, Li Xuanren was knocked back dozens of steps by Wang Xiao. After all, Wang Xiaoke has been in the late Mahayana for many years, so his strength is naturally extraordinary. As for Li Xuanren, although he is very powerful and can keep up with Mahayana in the midterm as soon as he breaks through to the Mahayana stage, he is only in the midterm of Mahayana. If he can hold off Mahayana in the later stage, it will be very good. Li Xuanren wiped away the blood that overflowed from his mouth, and looked helplessly into the distance, hoping that Lu Juyuan and the others had already arrived. Then he fought with Wang Xiao again. At the same time, Lu Juyuan's face had become gloomy to the extreme. He did not expect that Li Xuanren would actually take action. If the immortal ancestors Fa Shi took action, although he could deal with Wang Xiao, it would definitely take a long time. If this happens, you will definitely miss the time for team battles. At this moment, Thousand Ghost King and Lu Juyuan felt something, and they raised their heads to look at the sky. If nothing else, King Tianquan has already sent someone there. Lu Juyuan breathed a sigh of relief after feeling this breath, but the worried expression on Li Qingping's face did not relax because of this. After all, everything was in vain before seeing Li Xuanren's return. Don't worry, Uncle Li will be fine. Maybe it will be a blessing in disguise. Lu Juyuan comforted. Li Qingping could only let herself relax, but there was still a faint sadness in her heart. At this time, under the leadership of Thousand Ghost King, they came to the venue again. Fortunately, at the last moment, they finally arrived in front of the ring. After seeing their opponents, the faces of Li Tian and others couldn't help but become solemn. Because they sensed two extremely powerful auras among their opponents, far above the gold core stage. Li Tian and others looked at each other and exclaimed in unison. Nascent soul stage. But looking at Lu Juyuan to the side, his face was as calm as ever, and he breathed a sigh of relief. It was only at the nascent soul stage, and it was not like Lu Juyuan had never been defeated or even killed. On the other side, Yuanwu Kingdom's team battle opponent this time is from the Desert Kingdom, which is also a fifth-rate dynasty. The leader is the Quicksand King at the peak of transcending tribulation. When the Liuxia King saw that it was not Li Xuanren who was leading the people from the Yuanwu Kingdom, he couldn't help but become curious on his face, but he noticed that the aura of the Thousand Ghost King was equally strong. So I couldn't help but become curious, could this Thousand Ghost King be the newly promoted late transcending tribulation from Yuanwu Kingdom? But there was no time to think too much. Following the referee's order, the Quicksand King gave the desert country geniuses he led a look, and they all jumped onto the ring in unison. Kill them all, don't hold back. King Liuxia explained that anyway, the desert country and the Yuanwu country had no connection at all, so killing them was not a big deal. Yes. After hearing what King Liasan said, the five geniuses agreed unanimously, looking at Li Tian and others as if they were looking at a dead person. This look made Li Tian and others feel uncomfortable. Has the outcome been determined before the battle even started? But at this time Lu Juyuan stood up. Leave the two nascent soul stages to me later, and you can make your own arrangements for the rest. Obviously, Lu Juyuan did not think that Li Tian and others had the strength to deal with the two nascent soul stage figures, and Li Tian and others also obviously knew themselves and nodded. Then be careful yourself. After saying that, he jumped onto the ring, and with the referee's order, the battle began. On the other side, Li Xuanren was seen covered in blood, and his white clothes were dyed red, but he never let go of the spear in his hand. If you are so persistent, then you should be buried with them, and your Yuanwu Kingdom will also be buried with you. Wang Xiao said angrily. Don't think too much. At this time, Lu Juyuan and others should have arrived at the venue of the 100 Kingdoms competition. There was a worshipper of the peak Mahayana sitting there. He would definitely die if he went there. As for Li Xuanren who stopped him, Wang Xiao was already determined to kill him. Li Xuanren just coughed twice and still looked at Wang Xiao firmly. Even if I kill you, you will definitely die. Stop talking nonsense and get on my way. Wang Xiao also knew the reason behind Kai Zesheng's change, and roared angrily, then threw the two-wheeled scimitar in his hand, and the scimitar with terrifying power swept towards Li Xuanren, and Li Xuanren couldn't help but feel frightened. Could it be that, is everything coming to an end? Li Xuanren closed his eyes in despair. Facing this blow, he had no power to fight back, and being in Wang Xiao's hands for so long was already his limit. But at this moment, a purple thunder and lightning struck from a distance, directly blocking Wang Xiao's attack. After seeing this attack, Wang Xiao couldn't help but look ugly. He summoned the two scimitars with a wave of his hand and looked behind Li Xuanren with fear on his face. Li Xuanren felt something and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that reinforcements from the Tianquan kingdom had arrived. Wang Xiao on the other side said with fear, "Chen Xueren, you really don't miss our old friendship, do you want to stop me?" The figure walking from a distance was none other than Chen Xueren, a worshipper of Tianquan kingdom. His cultivation level reached the peak of Mahayana, which was far beyond what Wang Xiao could stop today. Facing Wang Xiao's request, Chen Xueren just shook his head and said, "Wang Xiao, stop it. Your Majesty can still pretend that nothing happened when you go back now." He couldn't bear to see Wang Xiao die after years of friendship, and he also knew how powerful King Tianquan was. It was no exaggeration to say that King Tianquan was only one step away from breaking through to Earth. A mortal realm. Wang Xiao roared crazily when he heard this. "Stop, I have no way to stop. Everything has been lost. Tanger is my only heir. How could he just watch my only heir being beaten to death?" From that moment on, I made up my mind to let everyone who hurt Tanger go down to accompany him, even gods. Chen Xueren just shook his head. "You have gone crazy. If that's the case, then we can only take you into His Majesty's hands and let him deal with you." Purple Thunder, heavenly prisoner. Chen Xueren waved his hand, and the next second the sky with a radius of tens of millions of kilometers darkened, and countless thunder and lightning swept toward Wang Xiao from the dark clouds of calamity. Wang Xiao, who sensed Chen Xueren's attitude, already knew that there should be nothing he could do to Li Xuanren today. Thinking of this, a look of pain flashed across Wang Xiao's face, but if he doesn't use it now, there may be no hope of revenge. "Just wait, I will definitely come back. When I come back, the world will be destroyed." As Wang Xiao's words fell, countless lightning struck Wang Xiao in the next second, and after the lightning disappeared, Wang Xiao's figure also disappeared. Chen Xueren couldn't help but frown when he saw this. Immortal grade teleportation talisman. There's nothing we can do about him. Hearing Chen Xueren's words, Li Xuanren couldn't help but be surprised. It was an immortal grade teleportation talisman. After use, it was enough to transmigrate several dynasties, and the area reached hundreds of billions of kilometers away. "Are you okay?" Now that Wang Xiao has left, Chen Xueren no longer cares about anything, and comes to Li Xuanren to help Li Xuanren up. "Thank you for your concern, Senior Chen. My body and bones can still withstand it. It's just a minor injury. Just rest for a while." Li Xuanren bowed slightly and thanked him, but Chen Xueren just shook his head and then threw out a pill. When he received the pill, Li Xuanren couldn't help being shocked. Because this is a healing pill with a grade as high as immortal level low grade. "Wang Xiaonai is from my Tianquan kingdom. Since he hurt you, this pill should be regarded as compensation for you. It should be an urgent need for you now," Chen Xueren said lightly, and this was what King Tianquan gave him in order to establish a good relationship with Li Xuanren. After all, he could see that day that Lu Juyuan was definitely very powerful, especially with his unfathomable background, which made him want to make friends. Li Xuanren, who had a good relationship with Lu Juyuan, obviously became a target. "Thank you, Senior Chen." Li Xuanren could naturally think of this, so he quickly thanked him and said that King Tianquan is now a superpower at the peak level of human immortal, and he is far from being someone he can provoke. "Don't be too happy yet. With Wang Xiao's personality, I'm afraid he won't give up. In fact, with his personality, I'm afraid he will target your Yuanwu kingdom, so you have to be careful." Chen Xueren warned, but he did not expect that Li Xuanren's face did not show the slightest worry, and he bowed to Chen Xueren. "Thank you for your concern, Senior Chen. If there is nothing else, I will go and watch the 100 Kingdoms competition first." "Just kidding, his Yuanwu kingdom is in charge of Lu Changsheng, a big killer." He doesn't think Wang Xiao can destroy Yuanwu Kingdom in front of Lu Changsheng. In contrast, he is now more curious about the stage of the 100 Kingdoms competition. After all, he also knows that this time Lu Juyuan and others will face 2 Yuanying stage figures, one of which is even in the middle stage of Yuanying stage. Seeing Li Shuangren leaving, Chen Shuaren couldn't help but shake his head. He had already spoken to remind him. As for whether he would listen or not, that was Li Shuangren's business. On the other side of the venue for the 100 Kingdoms competition, battles were going on all around. At first glance, there were almost a dozen nascent soul stage figures around, and what happened to them was Lu Juyuan and others. He actually faced off against 2 of them. After jumping onto the ring, following the referee's order, the 3 monks from the Desert Kingdom who had not yet broken through to the nascent soul stage disappeared and attacked Lu Juyuan and others. The 2 monks who had broken through to the nascent soul stage were quietly watching everything happen. Li Tian and others naturally knew their plans, and they couldn't help but become angry. Are we being treated as targets? Go to hell, Li Tian yelled, and then he picked up his opponent. A monk with a big sword struck down with all his strength, forcing the opponent to take a step back. The other party obviously did not expect that Li Tian actually had such terrifying fighting power, and he couldn't help but get excited for a moment, and then he fought with Li Tianjun. Zhang Chengfeng on the other side was facing a woman in green clothes, who was good at using magic. Under the terrifying firepower, even Zhang Chengfeng couldn't get close for a while. As for the last one, he was targeted by Chen Yuan. Ha ha ha, go to hell for me. Chen Yuan then punched the opponent, but he did not expect that the opponent stretched out a palm to slap Chen Yuan, and actually blocked Chen Yuan's punch. Amitabha, my benefactor, the sins of killing are too heavy on your body, so let the poor monk send you to the Western world for purification. Looking at it again, what else could it be but a monk? Smelly monk, die for me. When Chen Yuan saw the monk, he didn't know why his fighting power surged again, and he immediately fought with the monk. At this point, there are only 2 nascent soul stage monks on the stage. Lu Juyuan and Xu Shirui have no opponents yet. Those 2 are a little weak, I'll deal with them first. The 2 nascent soul stage monks standing far away looked at Lu Juyuan and Xu Shirui, and one of them said lightly. Obviously, they didn't take Lu Juyuan and Xu Shirui seriously at all. Well, be careful and don't give them a chance. The mid-stage nascent soul, who was obviously the captain, said lightly, while the early stage nascent soul nodded and disappeared immediately. At the same time, Xu Shirui stood beside Lu Juyuan on the other side. She didn't know what she was thinking. Her face turned red. Lu Juyuan was speechless for a while. What was this girl thinking in her head? At this time, Xu Shirui's mind was filled with Lu Juyuan's domineering appearance, especially the image of killing the late gold core genius with one enemy and many enemies, which was firmly engraved in her mind. There is no girl who is not pregnant, but she has not yet met her sweetheart. It was obvious that Lu Juyuan was in her heart at this time. But he also thought that since the relationship between Lu Juyuan and Li Qingping was so good, he might not have much chance. After all, in front of Li Qingping, Xu Shirui didn't dare to say that she was the best in the world in beauty. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of Xu Shirui out of thin air. Even Xu Shirui had not reacted. When he did, he only saw the opponent punching him with all his strength. In the face of absolute strength, Xu Shirui could only watch everything happen but was unable to stop it. If nothing unexpected happened, Xu Shirui would definitely die. But right now, you bully the people of Yuanwu Kingdom in front of me. It seems that you don't take me seriously. A faint voice came from one side, and the monk in the early stage of nascent soul suddenly had chills all over his body. It felt like he was being targeted by some big terror. And he had only experienced this feeling once, when he was targeted by a monk at the peak of soul formation while training outside. Fortunately, he was saved by the great power of the Desert Kingdom, but that experience still left him with lingering fears. What? Yuanwu has a powerful soul formation stage. This was his only thought, and Lu Juyuan really had a murderous intention at this time. In just a blink of an eye, Lu Juyuan came in front of him, and with just one palm, he slapped the opponent away. The nascent soul seemed to be a little broken. Ahem, how is that possible? How can you be so powerful? The monk in the early stage of nascent soul said in disbelief, his face full of panic, but the next second Lu Juyuan came to him. Since we are enemies, I don't need to tell you why I am so powerful, so please go die. Lu Juyuan said calmly, and then with one kick, he crushed the opponent's body and Yuan Ying into powder. This scene directly made the mid-stage nascent soul genius who was watching the show in the distance couldn't help but froze on the spot. Can anyone really achieve such a terrifying level? Can one kill the early stage of Yuanying before the age of 30? You must know that even he, Mo Rufeng, a rare genius in the desert country in 10,000 years, only broke through to the middle stage of nascent soul before he was 30 years old after experiencing countless fights and opportunities. According to King Liusha, this time he will definitely get the top 10 rankings in the 100 Kingdoms competition. However, even he would never be able to kill an early stage nascent soul so easily. At the same time, King Liusha on the side was also stunned by this scene and murmured. How is it possible? How could someone be so terrifying? Even in the last 100 nations competition, the peerless genius couldn't do it to such an extent, right? He originally thought that this time he would not meet someone as terrifying as the peerless genius last time, but he did not expect that Lu Juyuan this time would be much more terrifying than that one. No, surrender quickly. King Liusha thought of something at this time, and said with a look of panic, Mo Rufeng is his son-in-law, and if nothing happens, he will definitely be able to break through to the transcending tribulation stage within 1,000 years. He absolutely cannot watch Mo Rufeng die here. But how could Lu Juyuan not think of this? The enemy would definitely not be able to leave here alive. When he took action to kill the nascent soul in its early stages, Lu Juyuan was ready to kill them all in one blow. Chenkin palm. I saw a small mark appearing in Lu Juyuan's palm, and it was none other than the top-level immortal technique, Chenkin palm. He gathered all his spiritual power in his palm and then struck the enemy. Lu Juyuan was seen gathering the Chenkin palm in just an instant, and quickly struck at Mo Rufeng and the remaining 3 gold core peak cultivators. On the other side, Mo Rufeng saw how easily Lu Juyuan killed an early nascent soul genius on their side, and he planned to surrender without hesitation. But just before he spoke, the Chenkin palm came in front of him, and for a moment he felt the fear of the early Yuanying monk who had been killed earlier. He didn't even have time to speak, so he could only defend himself. However, with the blessing of 999 Chaos Gold Cores, Lu Juyuan's combat effectiveness is far superior to that of monks in the same realm. Especially since he only broke through half of the small realms some time ago, his strength has improved by no means. Even Mo Rufeng, who had mastered a middle-grade magic to basic accomplishment, could not stop him. He was killed by a palm without even a moment of stalemate. The other 3 gold core peakers didn't even have a chance to react, and were slapped into powder. This scene made Liusha Wang Naji's eyes turn red and he roared angrily. Boy, you are seeking death. Just wait, your Yuanwu kingdom is now in crisis. Soon, your Yuanwu kingdom will be destroyed. Although he has nothing to do with Yuanwu Kingdom, Liusha King also knows about the war relationship between Yuanwu Kingdom and Huhuang Kingdom. If he helps Huhuang Kingdom at this time, Yuanwu Kingdom will naturally be defeated. Of course, this was only what King Liusha was thinking, and what he didn't know yet was that the Yuanwu Kingdom had a powerful figure at the peak of Mahayana sitting in charge. If he took action rashly, only the 2 countries would be destroyed. If you dare to come, be prepared to have your country destroyed. Lu Juyuan said without fear that he believed in the strength of ancestor Lu Chengsheng, and estimated that with Lu Chengsheng's talent, it would not be long before he could break through to the human immortal realm. And he himself would have been able to kill the Quicksand King in front of him within a few hundred years. Snort. The Quicksand King snorted coldly. He originally thought that he would definitely get a good ranking in this trip, but he didn't expect that he would lose all his capital here. How could he not feel distressed? But when he was about to leave, he saw Li Xuanren coming in, so he snorted coldly. King Li, you have brought a good genius, but a genius who has not become stronger is just a dead person. After saying that, before Li Xuanren could react, the Quicksand King walked outside. It was obvious that he was going back to discuss cooperation with Huangguo. Li Xuanren on the other side was still confused and didn't know why, so he saw the referee on the other side stunned for a moment and then shouted. The winner is Yuanwu Kingdom. After saying that, the referee came to Li Xuanren and explained seriously. Come here to gather in 3 days. His Majesty King Tianquan will lead the top 10 teams to the Immortal Burial's secret realm. After saying that, the referee turned and left. He wanted to go back and give his son a good beating. Why could someone under the age of 30 be able to kill Yuanying stage, while his own son, who is only in his 20s this year, is only at the peak of foundation building? It simply disgraced him. Li Xuanren was naturally not surprised that Lu Juyuan and others won, but on the stage, Li Tian and others complained helplessly. Brother Lu, you acted too quickly, let us play again. Although it is not difficult to defeat the 3 gold core peaks with the strength of Li Tian and others, it will take a little time, and within that time, it is enough to make them surrender. Who made those 2 nascent soul stage monks take action? You know me, if they take action, I can't sit still and wait for death. Lu Juyuan shrugged helplessly and said. Li Tian and others could only express their understanding when they heard this. After all, judging from the current situation, the desert country would only become their enemy. If that's the case, don't give them a chance, just kill them all. They were all killed. No wonder. At this time, Li Xuanren came to their side, and after hearing what they said, he suddenly realized that no wonder King Liusha showed such an expression. After seeing Li Xuanren return safely, Li Qingping stepped forward to check Li Xuanren's body with a concerned look on her face, and said while checking. Father, are you okay? It's okay, it's just a late-stage Mahayana, it's not enough to kill me. Li Xuanren said calmly, but he forgot that if Chen Xueren hadn't come to the rescue in time, he would have paid a heavy price to escape. After seeing that Li Xuanren was fine, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. However, Wang Xiao still escaped after all. Judging from his character, this matter will never let go, so you should pay attention during this period. Li Xuanren thought of something and explained. Li Tian and others, who had just breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this, couldn't help but become nervous again. If Wang Xiao attacked them, they wouldn't even have a chance to resist. As for Lu Juyuan's words, he had an indifferent look on his face. With the ancestors' forgiveness in hand, I have the world. Then thinking of the expression on the Liusha king's angry departure, Li Qingping on the side said with some worry. Father, judging from King Liusha's situation today, I'm afraid he won't let this matter go. Doesn't Yuanwu kingdom need to pay more attention to it? Li Xuanren just shook his head and said with an expression of being in control. Don't worry, the news that Tuntian and I have broken through to the Mahayana stage is kept very secret. Huhuang country and desert country haven't known about it yet. If they take action, everything will be left to Tuntian. Anyway, he hasn't eaten for a long time. Something. Only then did Li Qingping remember that there was a sacred beast in her home, but what she also forgot about was that there was Lu Changsheng. With Lu Changsheng's strength, it is not really difficult to destroy 2 fifth-rate dynasties. Let's go, come back here in 3 days, and when you come here again, it's time for you to go in. After Li Xuanren said this, he was going to take Lu Juyuan and others away, and within these 3 days, Li Xuanren was going to tell them about the matters related to the Immortal Burial secret realm. At the same time, the Quicksand King had already arrived outside the venue. He looked at the venue behind him with red eyes and then took out a communication stone. Pass my order, doesn't Huhuang country want to cooperate with our desert country? Then agree, but after defeating Yuanwu country, I want half of Yuanwu country's territory. After saying that, King Liusha took back the communication stone and rushed back towards the desert country. At the same time, in the palace of Tianquan Kingdom, King Tianquan was sitting cross-legged practicing, and in front of him was Chen Xueren, who had just returned. How is it? He must have collected the things. Seeing Chen Xueren's return, King Tianquan opened his eyes and said calmly. The aura on his body was calm and intimidating. Chen Xueren couldn't help but sigh. Judging from the current situation, His Majesty is probably about to break through to the realm of Earth Immortal. Your Majesty, the man has been rescued and the healing pill has been given to him. It's just that Wang Xiao has an immortal-level teleportation talisman in his hand, so I didn't keep him. Chen Xueren said respectfully, and upon hearing this, King Tianquan couldn't help but frown. Obviously, this matter was beyond his imagination. Then thinking of something, Chen Xueren said hesitantly. Your Majesty, Wang Xiao has been working in Tianquan Kingdom for so many years. Do you really want to kill them all? HMPH. Are you teaching me how to do things? You have to know that Wang Xiao is disobeying the emperor's order now. In other words, he is criticizing my face. Do you think I will let him go? After Chen Xueren said that, he felt the pressure from King Tianquan in the next second, and then he remembered that in this kingdom of Tianquan, King Tianquan has always ruled the world alone. Wang Xiao's move was indeed seeking death, so he sighed helplessly. Old friend, I've spoken for you, but your majesty doesn't give you face. Go ahead and order Wang Xiao to be fully wanted within the Tianquan kingdom. If you encounter him, he will be executed immediately. King Tianquan waved his hand and said, and Chen Xueren could only agree and give the order. After Chen Xueren left, a servant soon came to King Tianquan and said respectfully, Your Majesty, the second stage of the 100 Kingdoms competition is over. Oh, is it over? Let me come and see. After King Tianquan said this, he took the list of people who could enter the secret realm of the immortal burial from the servant. But soon he saw something, and his expression became serious. Killing the mid-stage nascent soul with gold core at the early stage, are you sure it's not fake? King Tianquan couldn't help but become a little angry. He admitted that Lu Juyuan was indeed very strong, but this was not a question of whether he was strong or not. It was simply a bit fantasy. And under the pressure of King Tianquan, the slave was suppressed to the point of being crushed and could only speak repeatedly. Your Majesty, I dare not, this is indeed the case. After hearing what the slave said, King Tianquan took a deep breath to calm down, then thought of something and said coldly. We must make good friends with Lu Juyuan. If possible, he must join our Tianquan kingdom. Ahem, Li Xuanren, King Tianquan, I will definitely make you all pay the price. In a desert somewhere, a figure fell to the ground, and he was Wang Xiao, who had narrowly escaped from Chen Xueren's hands. He saw that Wang Xiao was in a state of embarrassment, and his eyes were full of hatred. He hated it. After looking around at the surrounding environment, Wang Xiao murmured. Were they all teleported to the desert of extinction? But it's okay, the sand of extinction is not very far from the Yuanwu kingdom. If that's the case, let's destroy the Yuanwu kingdom first. If you dare to kill my son, I will ask your entire dynasty to be buried with my son. After saying that, Wang Xiao disappeared in the blink of an eye, and the direction he was heading towards was Yuanwu kingdom. Chen Xueren did not cause much injury to Wang Xiao before, just a small injury. After all, Wang Xiao ran away without hesitation when he saw Chen Xueren arriving. What Wang Xiao didn't expect was what was waiting for him in Yuanwu kingdom. The Immortal Burial Secret Realm is a genuine immortal-grade secret realm. There are even immortal-grade heavenly materials and earthly treasures in it. However, there are powerful guardian beasts next to the immortal-grade heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Some of them have even reached the level of refining. It's a virtual period, so I don't recommend you to seize it. In Longmo Mountain, Li Xuanren was explaining to Lu Juyuan and others the relevant matters in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm. Isn't it right to use heavenly materials and earthly treasures of the immortal level to refine demonic beasts in the void stage? Shu Shirui said kindly, and at this time Li Tian stood up. I'm also curious about this, but I heard the sect master say that there are heavenly restrictions in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm, and the creatures in it cannot break through to the existence above the void refining stage. This has led to the strongest demon among them. The beast is the reason for the refining period. Although the tone was slightly relaxed, everyone's expressions had already become serious. They were monsters in the void refining stage, 3 levels higher than them. They may not even be opponents in the nascent soul stage, let alone the void refining stage where they can easily kill the nascent soul stage. But at this moment, they sensed something and looked at Lu Juyuan aside with surprise. They saw that Lu Juyuan's body was full of fighting spirit and he was a little ready to move. He didn't even use 10% of his strength when he fought against the nascent soul stage. He doesn't know if he can win if he fights against the void refining stage. Li Xuanren naturally knew what Lu Juyuan was thinking, so he quickly spoke. Juyuan, you are no match for the void refining stage. For an existence of that level, you must at least reach the soul formation stage to be able to fight. If you are in the gold core stage, you are still too weak. Yes, the void refining stage is very scary. Juyuan, you'd better not force yourself. Li Qingping also stood aside to persuade, and both of them spoke. Lu Juyuan could only nod, but who could know what was in his heart? Then there is no map or anything like a map in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm. At this time, Chen Yuan asked curiously, while Li Xuanren shook his head and gave a negative answer. If the Immortal Burial Secret Realm has a map, then it probably won't be our turn to go in. Based on what I have seen and heard over the years, one thing is certain, that is, there is a giant in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm that surpasses the human immortal realm. Can be passed on. As Li Xuanren finished speaking, Li Tian and others present could not help but be shocked. Beyond human immortal, isn't that Earth immortal? Chen Yuan said in disbelief, while Li Tian quickly calmed down and shook his head. No, it refers to transcending human immortal. It does not necessarily mean the Earth immortal realm. It may also be above the Earth immortal realm. After hearing this, everyone became uneasy. Above the Earth immortal was the Celestial immortal. The power of the Celestial immortal warriors was beyond their imagination. Li Xuanren must be very powerful, but in front of the powerful Celestial immortal realm, just a breath can crush the existence to death. But this may not necessarily be true. After all, Tianquan Kingdom has sent people in for so long, but they still haven't found it. Moreover, even if it has the inheritance of a powerful celestial immortal, it may not fall into our hands. Li Xuanren shook his head. After all, King Tianquan had set a rule before the 100 Kingdoms competition. You were not allowed to bring storage rings in without permission. You could only wear the storage rings given by King Tianquan. When they came out, King Tianquan still needed to check and confirm that there was no inheritance from the Celestial Immortal Realm powerhouse before allowing them to leave. After all, Li Xuanren is not a human immortal, and he will definitely not be the opponent of King Tianquan, so even if he gets the inheritance from a powerful person in the Celestial Immortal Realm, they can only hand it over obediently, even to Lu Juyuan. Everyone's hearts went cold for a moment, but Lu Juyuan's expression was strange. This opportunity felt like it was arranged for him. Thinking about the map that was auctioned earlier, it couldn't really be such a coincidence. If it was such a coincidence, then Lu Juyuan should have thought about his options at this time. At this time, Li Xuanren also spoke. There are still 3 days to enter the Burial Immortal Secret Realm. You should continue to practice during these 3 days. And Juyuan, don't you want to break through? Try to break through to the middle stage of Gold Core before entering the secret realm. They have not yet broken through to the middle stage of Gold Core and can kill the middle stage of Nascent Soul. If they break through to the middle stage of Gold Core, I am afraid that their safety factor in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm will be greatly improved. Well, that's exactly what I meant. Lu Juyuan nodded. He had this idea. He also wanted to break through to the Transcending Tribulation stage within 100 years. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Lu Juyuan and others opened their consciousness, but the expressions on their faces became strange. It's actually Fatty Wu, Lu Juyuan said. The person outside the door was Wu Quanchai from a few days ago. They were not disgusted with Wu Quanchai, Lu Juyuan and others, and quickly opened the door. After seeing Lu Juyuan and others, the admiration on Wu Quanchai's face was self-evident. He did not expect that Lu Juyuan's combat power would be so amazing, and he could kill the nascent soul in the early stage of Gold Core. What do you want from us? Lu Juyuan spoke, his tone not too cold, but Wu Quanchai then remembered his purpose, and his expression became serious. Brother Lu, Hu Wangguo is here to find us. As Wu Quanchai finished speaking, Li Xuanren appeared next to them at some unknown time. Hu Wangguo came to find you. What happened? When he saw Li Xuanren, Wu Quanchai's face was also shocked. He obviously didn't expect to see Li Xuanren, but he thought of something and then said. Not long ago, Hu Wangguo came to us. Chapter 91. Not long ago, Hu Wangguo came to us and wanted to cooperate with our Wuforging nation, and the content of the cooperation is to unite in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm to kill the genius of your Yuanwu Kingdom. Wu Quanchai told what happened not long ago. Just a few hours ago, King Hu Huang, the leader of Hu Huang Kingdom, approached Hao Heavenly King, the leader of their Wudang Kingdom, and proposed a joint attack on Yuanwu Kingdom. Requirements. Since you're here, you probably haven't agreed to the cooperation. Li Tian thought of something and spoke, but upon hearing this, Wu Quanchai just said a little embarrassed. Well, actually they all agreed. When Wu Quanchai finished speaking, he immediately felt several murderous intentions surrounding him, as if he was about to be killed in the next second. Wu Quanchai was so frightened that he said quickly, "Wait a minute, I haven't finished speaking yet. I'm friends with you, and I must be for you. You won't kill me." Wu Quanchai felt that their murderous intent was a little lighter, but not completely, so he continued to speak. "It was not our intervention at all. It was only because King Hu Huang brought out 100 kilograms of immortal-grade mineral star sand as reward that your majesty agreed." Hearing this, Li Xuanren immediately understood why Yihao Heavenly King's uncontested character agreed. The Unforged Kingdom itself is a great weapon-forging country. King Hao Heavenly was able to create the immortal weapon at the peak of transcending tribulation and was called the Immortal Grade Forger. Star sand is the best material used for forging weapons. As a forger, naturally, Hao Heavenly King, who is a weapon maniac, cannot refuse the temptation of the star sand. In addition, there was no connection between them, so Hao Heavenly King naturally didn't have to worry so much and agreed. "You're not just here to remind us." Lu Juyuan thought of something and said lightly. Wu Quanchai just smiled bitterly when he heard this. "Well, I just want you to be merciful when I come here. Just destroy the people of Huhuang Kingdom. If you destroy the people of Huhuang Kingdom, the people of Forging Kingdom will probably retreat." "Oh, why did we agree to you? We've only known each other for less than 7 days. Why do you think we agreed?" Li Tian said with some curiosity, while Wu Quanchai gritted his teeth and then took out his storage ring. "Here are all my top-quality spiritual stones, which are about 1 billion. I can use them to exchange for their lives, I think." Wu Quanchai's heroic operation also surprised them. They must know that this is 1 billion top-quality spiritual stones, which is enough to make any 5th-rate force or even a force that has just been promoted to the 4th rate go crazy. Li Xuanren's breathing on the side couldn't help but become rapid. You have to know that even he can't get out 1 billion of the best spiritual stones now. Of course, he should be able to get it out if he sells the sky-swallowing python. Interesting, don't you feel bad? After all, this is 1 billion of the best spiritual stones. Lu Juyuan stood up and said with interest at this time, while Wu Quanchai just shook his head helplessly. "They were just deceived by Xingqianxia, and I have known them for so long, so naturally I can't bear to see them die. We all had a pretty good relationship with each other on weekdays. Naturally, Wu Quanchai couldn't bear to watch them die. The spirit stone was nothing more than an external possession. As long as he had a good relationship with Lu Juyuan, the spirit stone was nothing." Interesting. If that's the case, then I'll agree. Just hope that they don't take action first. Otherwise, I won't guarantee that they are still alive. Lu Juyuan said indifferently that the geniuses of Wudang country and Huhuang country this time were similar to those of desert country. They both had geniuses in the nascent soul stage, but in his eyes, they were still nothing. Hearing Lu Juyuan agreed, Wu Quanchai couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that their lives had been saved. Li Xuanren was about to take the storage ring when he saw this. After all, Yuanwu Kingdom is extremely short of spiritual stones nowadays, especially it was Lu Juyuan who bought the origin of Tiantian bloodline at a high price some time ago. But at this moment, Lu Juyuan gave Wu Quanchai's storage ring back. "Just take back the spiritual stone or something. We won't need it anyway. Besides, this is just a convenient thing," Lu Juyuan said nonchalantly, which made Li Xuanren freeze on the spot. "If you don't need it, I will. But after all, this is Lu Juyuan's decision, and he can't interfere at all." "Thank you very much." Wu Quanchai took it back with a complex expression. "If nothing goes wrong, I will go back first. After all, they will be suspicious after being away for so long." After Wu Quanchai said that, he turned around to leave, but just as he was about to leave, Lu Juyuan spoke. "But I'm curious about one thing. Why do you think that the geniuses of the 2 dynasties combined are no match for me?" Wu Quanchai also paused in his steps, did not turn his head, but smiled and said, "It's just intuition." After saying that, he turned around and left without looking back. As for Lu Juyuan's words, he also smiled and shook his head. Obviously, he was not very surprised by the answer. "So, do we need to be merciful when we encounter the Wuforging Kingdom in the Immortal Burial Secret Realm?" Li Tian said with some enthusiasm that he did not expect that he would encounter such a thing during his first and last participation in the 100 Kingdoms competition, and Lu Juyuan gave him a look. You can think about this kind of thing yourself and weigh your own strength. Hearing Lu Juyuan's words, Li Tian couldn't help but fell silent. It seemed that these two countries were no match for him. Okay, I'm going to retreat first. I think I can successfully break through to the middle stage of Gold Core before entering the secret realm. As for you, you can see for yourself. After Lu Juyuan said that, he turned around and entered his room, set up a formation, and began to retreat to the middle stage of Gold Core. This time, the goal is to break through the remaining Gold Core to the middle stage of Gold Core within 3 days. Li Tian, who was outside, was stunned for a moment, and then heard Zhang Chengfeng and others around him talking. There is not much time left. I have to start to stabilize my realm and strive to break through to the nascent soul stage in the secret realm. Yeah, me too. Seeing them all going to retreat, Li Tian shook his head helplessly, entered the room and began to retreat, secretly complaining about this involution. After they all went in, only Li Xuanren, Li Qingping and Li Tai were left outside. Xiaoti, do you need to do something? Li Qingping asked with some concern. Like Lu Juyuan, Li Qingping also chose to call Li Tai Xiaoti. Hehe, my realm has become somewhat stable. Let's go to the foundation building stage first. Li Tai said with some embarrassment, and then began to retreat into seclusion. Suddenly, everyone in Longmo Mountain No. 3 Villa began to retreat, and Li Xuanren said helplessly to Li Qingping. Daughter, this kid Juyuan is really rich and powerful. At this time, at the northern border of Yuanwu Kingdom, several people were sitting opposite each other, with solemn expressions on their faces. Why did this desert country actually unite with the Huhuang country? A man wearing golden clothes had a face full of anger, and he was none other than Li Qingshan, the eldest prince of the Yuanwu Kingdom. The murderous aura on his body had been condensed, which showed that he had been staying on the border for a long time. Brother, calm down first. This desert country will never unite with the Huhuang country for no reason. The most important thing for us is to stabilize the current situation first. Li Qingfeng on the side quickly spoke to persuade. As he spoke, Li Qingshan's anger slowly calmed down. A day ago, they were about to capture a 1,000,000-strong army from the Huhuang Kingdom, but they did not expect that the Desert Kingdom's army would suddenly arrive and disrupt their formation, resulting in numerous casualties. Li Qingshan, who has always been extremely calm, broke his guard just because of this. You must know that he has not been home for almost 100 years. When he first came here, he was in the early stage of integration, and now he is in the late stage of integration. In any case, the most important thing now is to find allies. I don't believe it. This desert country cannot have enemies. Li Qingshan snorted coldly, and soon had an idea in his mind. If the Huhuang Kingdom could bring the Desert Kingdom to join the war, then it would be reasonable for him to find other dynasties to join the war. At the same time, in Yuanwu Kingdom, a figure hidden under a black robe was seen slowly arriving in front of the capital of Yuanwu Kingdom. Hey, who are you? Take off your black robe, otherwise you will not be allowed to enter Los Santos. The guard at the door immediately noticed the other party and hurriedly scolded him, but the next second he was hit into blood mist by a blow. Jia, I am the one who will destroy your Yuanwu Kingdom. The other party was Wang Xiao, who had arrived at Yuanwu Kingdom, and the people around him ran around in horror after seeing this scene. What, are you here to cause trouble? Someone come quickly. The face of the only remaining guard also became frightened, and he quickly took out the communication stone to notify the entire Yuanwu Kingdom's guards. At the same time, deep in Yuanwu Kingdom, a pair of green eyes slowly swayed under the cold pool. Shu opened his eyes. Someone is here to cause trouble. If that's the case, let's kill him. It is the sacred beast of the Yuanwu Kingdom, the sky-swallowing python. After saying that, the sky-swallowing python rushed out of the city gate of Yuanwu Kingdom. He also felt that Wang Xiao was not easy to mess with, but there was no way. Who made him and Li Xuanren make a contract with heaven, and he must protect Yuanwu. As for Wu State, Jia, stop resisting fearlessly. All of them will become my blood food. At this time, Wang Xiao revealed his figure, and his teeth had turned red without knowing it, and the whole person looked extremely eerie and strange. The escort team of Yuanwu Kingdom had not arrived yet, and a figure appeared in front of the city gate of Yuanwu Kingdom in the next second. When the other party appeared, Wang Xiao couldn't help but frown. This Yuanwu Kingdom actually still is there a Mahayana stage? It's just the early stage of Mahayana, so you can't help yourself. The opponent was the sky-swallowing python that had transformed into a human form. Monsters can naturally appear in human form when they reach the nascent soul stage. After appearing, the sky-swallowing python gave the guard at the door a look. "Take them out of here, I will deal with this person," the sky-swallowing python said lightly, and the guard obviously didn't know the sky-swallowing python, but the captain of the guard team happened to be here at this time, and he naturally knew the sky-swallowing python. After seeing the appearance of the sky-swallowing python, he couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. It was obvious that this matter was already very difficult. Thinking of this, he did not hesitate at all and followed the request of the sky-swallowing python to evacuate the surrounding people. As the crowd retreated, the sky-swallowing python stamped its feet without hesitation, and the next second a huge light curtain directly enveloped the Yuanwu Kingdom, and this was the Yuanwu Kingdom's national defense formation. But in front of Wang Xiao, it had no effect at all. At most, it could only resist Mahayana's initial blow. However, the sky-swallowing python was not used to block Wang Xiao's attack, but to protect the people of Yuanwu Kingdom. "Are you ready? Then I will take action." At this moment, Wang Xiao spoke, and Wang Xiao smiled sinisterly. The next second, Wang Xiao's figure disappeared from the eyes of the sky-swallowing python. What? The pupils of the sky-swallowing python could not help but shrink a bit. When Wang Xiao appeared again, he was already in front of him, and a scimitar was slashing straight at him. The sky-swallowing python tried its best but could only stretch out its right hand and transformed into scales to try to block the blow, but it was still knocked away by the terrifying force. This scene made the people of Yuanwu Kingdom in the National Defense Formation look worried. Even the sacred beast of the country is no match. Is our Yuanwu Kingdom going to perish? Who is this person? He actually took action against our Yuanwu Kingdom. More than this, what I'm more curious about is, when will His Majesty come back? Many Yuanwu Kingdom executives said worriedly at this time, and most of them were in the integration stage and even a few had broken through to the transcending tribulation stage, but when facing a battle of this level, they could not intervene. On the other side, the sky-swallowing python that was knocked away by Wang Xiao stopped after hitting several mountains. However, his expression at this time was extremely gloomy, and he kept cursing in his heart what kind of enemy Li Xuanren had provoked, so terrifying. Just one blow caused him considerable injuries, but before he could react, Wang Xiao appeared in front of him again, raised his foot and kicked the sky-swallowing python into the air. Facing Wang Xiao's terrifying offensive, the sky-swallowing python could barely manage to avoid being instantly killed by one blow. At the same time, it could only hope that Li Xuanren could come back quickly. The fluctuations of the battle between the two people also spread throughout the territory of Yuanwu Kingdom. Many leaders of the big forces felt the terror and gasped involuntarily. This breath, far above the transcending tribulation stage, is the Mahayana stage. Hiss! What kind of terrifying big shot did Li Xuanren provoke? He actually provoked such a scary big shot to take action. I'm afraid Yuanwu Kingdom is about to change hands now, so everyone should be prepared to fight for rights. Many leaders of the big forces shook their heads. They did not dare to go out to watch the battle at this time. If the other party thought they were allies of the Yuanwu Kingdom and were killed, the gain would outweigh the loss. The fluctuations of the battle soon spread to Qingfeng town. This smell, it's the battle on the royal family's side. Lu Chengsheng, who was in retreat trying to break through to the human immortal stage, also felt this aura, and couldn't help but stand up and sighed. Since it's the royal family, let's get involved. After all, the royal family's girl has a very good relationship with Mai Juyuan. After Lu Chengsheng said this, he took a step down and disappeared into the secret room in the next second. When he looked again, he was heading towards Los Santos at a very fast speed. Boom boom boom. I only saw that the human form transformed by the sky-swallowing python in the air was being attacked crazily by Wang Xiao, but the sky-swallowing python couldn't even fight back. It could hold on for a longer time in defense. If it fought back, it would only lead to more deaths. Quick! Ha ha ha, looking at you now, don't you even have the courage to take action? Wang Xiao was still taunting, venting out the grievances he had received from Li Xuanren at this time. What made him a little annoyed was that even he couldn't kill the sky-swallowing python with its defensive posture. Kill. After all, the sky-swallowing python is a top-notch existence among monsters, and its own strength surpasses that of a human race monk at the same level. Li Xuanren was able to tame him in the first place only by chance. However, the situation of the sky-swallowing python at this time was not optimistic, and the aura of the whole person was also weakened a lot. This scene made the people of Yuanwu Kingdom below feel complete despair. At this time, they didn't even have a chance to escape. Once they left the scope of the National Defense Formation, the horrific aftermath outside would kill them without hesitation. The sky-swallowing python didn't even have a chance to lure Wang Xiao away, and at this moment, Wang Xiao only saw a sword fall, directly sending the sky-swallowing python flying to the ground. Suddenly, the terrifying force shattered the ground thousands of miles around, while the sky-swallowing python was lying in the deep pit, with a look of fear on its face. Wang Xiao was so powerful that he couldn't even take action. He was defeated without any chance. I can tell that you must be some kind of powerful monster. Kneel down now, acknowledge me as your master, and swear an oath of allegiance to me. Otherwise, I will kill you without mercy. After such a long fight, he could also tell that the sky-swallowing python in front of him should be some kind of powerful monster. If he could use it for his own use, it would definitely help his strength to reach a higher level. It's just that the sky-swallowing python itself is very arrogant. Even if Li Xuanren wanted to take it as a mount, he couldn't do it. In the end, it could only be regarded as a national beast. How could he possibly surrender to Wang Xiao? The sky-swallowing python laughed and said, "A mere human being wants to tame me just because his realm is higher than mine. If that's the case, then why can't I go find the immortal king, immortal sovereign, and become their mount? Stop talking. Even if I die, I, the sky-swallowing python, will never become your mount." Since the sky-swallowing python is so determined, Wang Xiao will naturally not waste any more time. After all, in his opinion, it is better to make a quick decision than to make changes later. Since you have made up your mind, then go and die. I have a sword called Demon Exorcist, you can pick it up for me. Wang Xiao said lightly. His body was full of killing intent, and at this time, a scarlet blood energy was constantly emanating from his two scimitars. It can be seen that these two scimitars have killed many people in Wang Xiao's hands. Few people. The moment Wang Xiao took action, the sky-swallowing python also felt a terrifying killing intent shrouding his body, and he, like a shaky boat in the rough sea, would die at any time. This knife is terrifying. The sky-swallowing python couldn't help but think in his heart, it's just that he himself is a warlike clan, how could he choose to sit back and wait for death? I saw the sky-swallowing python take a deep breath, and the next second its entire body expanded. At this time, he had transformed into his original appearance. After seeing the sky-swallowing python, Wang Xiao couldn't help but be a little surprised. He didn't expect it to be the sky-swallowing python. You must know that the sky-swallowing python is known as the most powerful monster among the four sacred beasts. If he takes it for his own use, it will definitely help you a lot. Thinking of this, Wang Xiao once again spoke to persuade, "You will definitely die if this knife falls. If you choose to recognize the master now, you still have a chance." But the sky-swallowing python has only one answer, and that is to get out. Wang Xiao naturally no longer hesitated, and saw the sword fall, and the monstrous sword energy carried a terrifying sense of oppression towards the sky-swallowing python. The sky-swallowing python that had recovered its body had reached a length of hundreds of kilometers, but under this sword energy, even the sky-swallowing python had no chance of survival. Just fighting is still necessary. All he saw was that the sky-swallowing python opened its bloody mouth, and a terrifying beam of light suddenly shot out from the sky-swallowing python's mouth. After seeing the beam, Wang Xiao couldn't help but frown. Is this the divine ability that is the destiny of the sky-swallowing python clan? The monster race itself has many advantages over the human race, the most significant of which is that in the nascent soul stage, the monsters can realize the divine ability of their own life through the power of their own blood. And what the sky-swallowing python has is the divine ability, the devouring light, which is the birthright of the sky-swallowing python clan. Under the devouring light, everything will be reduced to nothingness. I only saw that the devouring light in the mouth of the sky-swallowing python actually came to a stalemate after encountering Wang Xiao's demon slayer. However, the stalemate did not last long. The sword energy continued to approach the sky-swallowing python with terrifying power. This scene made the people in Yuanwu Kingdom despair. They could naturally see that the sky-swallowing python had exhausted all its strength. If nothing unexpected happened, they would destroy the country. However, when the sky-swallowing python wanted to increase its strength, it had already reached its limit, and blood and tears even flowed from its eyes, but it could not stop the demon slayer. In a moment, only a bang was heard, and the demon killer hit the location of the sky-swallowing python, immediately submerging the huge body of the sky-swallowing python. The endless dust made them all believe that the sky-swallowing python would definitely die. Only Wang Xiao's face was a little solemn, and he stood in the air and stared at the dust. Wang Xiao's performance naturally attracted the attention of the great masters of Yuanwu Kingdom. Wait a minute, look, there seems to be something wrong with that guy's expression. His expression, is the Lord Zhengguo Divine Beast still alive? Don't be stupid, we can all see that Lord Zhengguo Divine Beast is no match for the opponent. He was hung up and beaten by the opponent the whole time. How can he still be alive in this situation? Not necessarily, let's take a look first and then talk. Wang Xiao's performance gave everyone a glimmer of hope. Although they all felt that things would not turn around, what if it did? Wang Xiao in the air was staring at the position of the dust, and a turbulent wave arose in his heart. No way, how could someone take action? It must have been an illusion just now. Wang Xiao kept reminding himself in his heart that no one could take action, but he did see something flash past just now, and in the dust, the breath of the sky-swallowing python did still exist, which made him unable to help. The ground became solemn. As the dust dispersed, only the body of the sky-swallowing python was still curled up on the ground, intact, but a person appeared in front of him. Who are you, Your Excellency? This matter should have nothing to do with you. Wang Xiao said with an ugly face. He could see that the person in front of him was very powerful. He should not be an opponent. Naturally, he wanted to make the other person leave voluntarily. Me, Yuanwu Kingdom has something to do with me. If I don't take action, I'm afraid my descendants will feel a little uncomfortable. What? Who is that gentleman? He actually blocked such a terrifying attack. Hey, I want to know right now, is he an enemy or a friend? Are you stupid? The other party has been blocked by the Zhengguo Divine Beast. It must be one of our own. If the other party is so strong, wouldn't we be saved? After the dust dispersed, an old man's figure also stood in front of the sky-swallowing python. He was holding an immortal sword in his hand, and it was Lu Chengsheng who had arrived belatedly. Sir, if you really want to interfere, you must know that even if I can't defeat you, I can escape without any problem. Aren't you afraid that there will be one more enemy in the later stage of Mahayana? Wang Xiao said with a gloomy face. He could naturally tell that Lu Chengsheng was not from the royal family of Yuanwu Kingdom. Otherwise, the one who came out earlier should not have been the sky-swallowing python, but him. Oh, if I want to take action, you might as well try and see if you can escape in my hands. Lu Chengsheng snorted coldly. He was the least afraid of threats. Back then, a monk in the middle stage of Mahayana threatened him, so when he was still in the early stage of Mahayana, Lu Chengsheng forcibly killed him. If that's the case, then let's wait and see. Wang Xiao said with a gloomy face, and then took out a talisman, which was the immortal teleportation talisman, and this was his last immortal teleportation talisman. But before he used the immortal teleportation talisman, he found that the immortal teleportation talisman in his hand could not be shredded at all. What? Space confinement. When did it happen? Wang Xiao finally panicked at this time. He was not absolutely sure of escaping from Lu Chengsheng's hands. When I came here just now, I was fully prepared and kept a guard up. It makes sense. Lu Chengsheng said calmly. When he arrived, he felt that Wang Xiao's cultivation was in the late stage of Mahayana. He was only one step away from breaking through to the peak of Mahayana. If Wang Xiao had some backup plans, once he escaped, it would definitely be a disaster for the Lu family. Not a small threat, so to be cautious, Lu Chengsheng used a confinement talisman to confine the surrounding space, making it impossible for Wang Xiao to escape. I will only throw out one sword. If you can block it, then I will spare your life. Lu Chengsheng waved the longevity sword in his hand. As he finished speaking, an invisible sword power spread from Lu Chengsheng's body, making Wang Xiao and the sky-swallowing python involuntarily shocked. This sword power, at least the sword intention, has reached the level of Dengfeng. The sky-swallowing python took a breath of cold air and said, and at the same time he felt lucky that Lu Chengsheng should be on his side, otherwise why would he block Wang Xiao's attack? Wang Xiao on the other side couldn't help but become solemn when Lu Chengsheng took action. He felt that Lu Chengsheng's state was at the peak of Mahayana like Chen Xueren. However, Lu Chengsheng is much more powerful than Chen Xueren. It is no exaggeration to say that the 10 Chen Xuerens put together may not be Lu Chengsheng's opponent. This is Lu Chengsheng's strength. This move is called longevity. Lu Chengsheng said calmly, although it is called immortality, the meaning of the sword is full of death. Survival in death is Lu Chengsheng's way of immortality. If he can't stop it, death will be waiting for Wang Xiao. Wang Xiao naturally thought of this. Before the threat of death, Wang Xiao finally stopped holding back. You forced me to do this, so just follow the Yuanwu kingdom on the road. Death sacrifice. Wang Xiao roared angrily, and an infinite amount of dark black gas suddenly burst out from Wang Xiao's body, and soon enveloped Wang Xiao. In just an instant, a person condensed behind Wang Xiao. Huge shadow. After Wang Xiao took action, Lu Chengsheng's brows wrinkled inadvertently. Evil Demon Dao. Although everyone in the world knows about Demon Dao, they don't know that Demon Dao is also very different. Ordinary Demon Dao only wants to express gratitude and enmity, and its cultivation methods are not too cruel. As for the evil Demon Dao, it is truly not tolerated by the Emperor's Zan continent. Most of the people who practice the evil Demon Dao are bloodthirsty and murderous people, and basically no grass grows wherever they go. However, tens of millions of years ago, the evil Demon Dao was jointly suppressed by several immortal emperors. Now it is not so rampant and has disappeared in the Emperor's Zan continent. However, the evil Demon Dao is still there in some invisible places. It is constantly developing, but no one knows about it. And Lu Chengsheng only knew about Demon Dao because of a chance. He had a battle with a transcending tribulation stage monk of Demon Dao, and finally managed to kill him by luck. Jia, since you know Demon Dao, you should know how powerful my move is. If you leave now, you may still have a chance to survive. Wang Xiao heard Lu Chengsheng's words. Although he was a little surprised on his face, he still laughed and tried to make Lu Chengsheng retreat. After all, although this move can greatly increase his strength, it can be said to be very draining on him. Horrible, and may even cause a regression in one's realm. It's just a pity that Lu Chengsheng has been practicing for so long and has never flinched. Although you are very powerful, I am more powerful than you. Kill. Lu Chengsheng gave the order, and then waved the sword of longevity, carrying the sword with infinite death energy, and flew towards Wang Xiao. At this time, Wang Xiao no longer hesitated. If the realm regresses, the realm will regress. It is better than death. Extinction. Wang Xiao roared, and the shadow behind him also transformed into a giant sword and struck at Lu Chengsheng. Its power has reached the peak level of ordinary Mahayana. But it's still not enough in Lu Chengsheng's eyes. I only saw that when the giant sword collided with Chengsheng, there was no surprise at all. The giant sword broke apart before Chengsheng, but its power remained undiminished. What? Strength in me, Wang Xiao said with a horrified look on his face after seeing this scene, and then he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned extremely pale, and the giant sword barely reached the same level as Chengsheng, but it couldn't last long. Kill me, Lu Chengsheng said calmly. As his aura became stronger again, Chengsheng's power suddenly became stronger again, and the giant sword also collapsed. No, I'm from the Demon Palace. If you kill me, they won't let you go. Wang Xiao finally felt scared at this time and said quickly, but sorry, Lu Chengsheng was not afraid at all. What kind of ghost and evil palace? If they come, let them follow them. Although I don't know what the Demon Palace is, those who can let Wang Xiao join it must at least be at the human immortal stage or above. However, Lu Chengsheng's path is originally the path of invincibility, so naturally he will not feel afraid. As his words fell, the immortality slash also submerged Wang Xiao's figure. Seeing this scene, Lu Chengsheng shook his head helplessly. It seems like this guy can't live forever after all. At this time, the whole python of the sky-swallowing python has been stunned on the spot, not knowing what to say. After all, Lu Chengsheng in front of him is extremely powerful. What if he is not careful and is beheaded by the opponent? Are you okay? After Lu Chengsheng killed Wang Xiao and took over his storage ring, he turned to look at the sky-swallowing python and asked, but for some reason, the sky-swallowing python could sense that the tone of Lu Chengsheng in front of him was a little cold. But without hesitation, the sky-swallowing python quickly recovered its human form and stood up to bow. Thank you, Senior, for saving your life. I wonder what you call Senior. Me, just call me Lu Chengsheng. Lu Chengsheng looked at the sky-swallowing python and said slowly, and after Lu Chengsheng said his name, the sky-swallowing python suddenly realized that his surname was Lu, and he should be the ancestor of the clan, Lu Juyuan. Okay, since you're fine, I'll leave first. After Lu Chengsheng said this, he disappeared. Anyway, he was originally here to deal with Wang Xiao, and naturally he would not consider the rest of the matter. After Lu Chengsheng left, the sky-swallowing python just stamped its feet to close the country-protecting formation. At this time, the people in Yuanwu Kingdom had not yet reacted. Although this scene seems very long, it only lasts a few minutes. Hiss, did Yuanwu Kingdom survive? A monk at the peak of Mahayana took action. What? That Mahayana peak monk has a very good relationship with the Li family. Give me an order to be on good terms with the Li family. Tisk, 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 I'm really curious about where the Li family hooked up with the monks at the peak of Mahayana. As soon as the National Defense Formation was closed, the forces belonging to the Yuanwu Kingdom also received the news immediately, but what made them extremely curious was which force did the monk at the peak of Mahayana belong to. At the same time, somewhere in Tianling Prefecture, there was only dark smoke all around. This happened to be the Tianling Prefecture branch of the evil demon palace. As Wang Xiao died, one of the monks slowly opened his eyes. Well, have any demons died? That direction is the direction of Tianquan Kingdom. I hope the other party didn't blow up our demon palace. As his words fell, he could not help but feel a sense of coercion, and this was the coercion that only a celestial immortal monk had. What's even more terrifying is that from looking around him, it is obvious that he is not the master of this branch hall yet, which shows how powerful the demon palace is. After dealing with Wang Xiao, Lu Chengsheng quickly returned to the Lu family and carefully inspected Wang Xiao's storage ring. Although he was not afraid of the demon palace, he knew himself and his enemy and was always victorious. He wanted to see if Wang Xiao had any demons. Temple information. This is Shadow Storage Stone. G =%. Lu Chengsheng found an exquisite black stone in it and said with some surprise. As he poured his immortal power into the shadow storage stone, an image emerged. In the picture, Wang Xiao was communicating with a monk wearing a black robe. Although he didn't feel it, just seeing it made Lu Chengsheng feel a great sense of discomfort. This is someone from the evil demon palace. Lu Chengsheng thought to himself, and the picture was exactly how Wang Xiao and the demon palace cooperated. The price was that after capturing Tianling province, he would become the king of Tianquan Kingdom. The scene ended abruptly here. It seems that the evil demon palace is quite powerful. I hope it will have no impact on our Lu family. Lu Chengsheng couldn't help but frown. He wanted to capture the entire Tianling state. You must know that the main cultivation level of Tianling state is the peak of Golden Immortal. If the evil demon palace wants to capture the entire Tianling state, wouldn't it also have Golden Immortal? Does the pinnacle of monks exist? Thinking of this, Lu Chengsheng just couldn't help but sigh. After all, being a strong man of this level was still too far away for him. With his talent, he estimated that if he wanted to break through to the Golden Immortal stage, he might not have a few people. Not even in a million years. Of course, unless there is some great chance, otherwise it will take millions of years for you to be lucky. However, with Juyuan's talent, I'm afraid it won't take more than a few million years. At this moment, Lu Chengsheng couldn't help but think of Lu Juyuan. You must know that Lu Juyuan is a talented person that is rare in a million years in the Lu family. I am afraid that it will take a few million years to break through to the peak of Golden Immortal. What he didn't expect was that in such a short period of time, Lu Juyuan would break through to the middle stage of Gold Core. In the room, as Lu Juyuan violently absorbed the spiritual power from the surrounding top-quality spiritual stones, the chaos gold core in Lu Juyuan's body was also promoted to the middle stage one by one at this time. Lu Juyuan's aura also continued to become stronger. Now Lu Juyuan fell into the category of getting stronger every second. 2.5 days passed, and within these 2.5 days, Lu Juyuan finally promoted all the chaos gold core in his body to the middle stage. Boom! I only saw that as the last chaos gold core was promoted to the middle stage by Lu Juyuan, a terrifying aura burst out from Lu Juyuan's body, destroying everything around him. Even the top-level formations arranged by Lu Juyuan were destroyed. There is a tendency for some collapse. Phew, it looks like my strength has doubled again. Lu Juyuan felt the changes in his body and couldn't help but thought excitedly, there is nothing more exciting than the improvement of strength, and in these 2.5 days, Lu Juyuan consumed 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones to completely improve to the middle stage of gold core. You must know that 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones are enough to create a monk in the void refining stage. If you are lucky, it will not be a problem to break through to the fusion stage. But here it is only enough for Lu Juyuan to break through a small realm. It can be seen how much Lu Juyuan has consumed now. After all, although Lu Juyuan is only in the middle stage of gold core, his true combat power cannot be measured by the gold core stage. And this was worth it to Lu Juyuan. However, Lu Juyuan frowned at this time. He used 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones before he broke through to the middle stage of gold core. If he followed this trend, I am afraid that the 10 billion top-quality spiritual stones in his hand would only allow him to break through to 100,000. Soul formation stage. Thinking of this, Lu Juyuan couldn't help but sigh. I am afraid that only by gathering the resources of the entire Emperor Zan continent can he break through to the immortal Emperor. But after thinking about it, Lu Juyuan stopped thinking about it. The time was coming, and it was time to enter the immortal burial secret realm. You're out. Li Xuanren and others outside were also a little anxious, and they were relieved when they saw Lu Juyuan appear. After noticing the changes in Lu Juyuan, Li Xuanren couldn't help but take a breath of air. I didn't expect that you would break through to the middle stage of gold core so quickly. Remember, you seem to have been practicing for only 2.5 months. The faces of Li Tian and others were also full of shock. You must know that it took them 2.5 years from the beginning of practice to the middle stage of gold core. Lu Juyuan just smiled and said, "It's just a coincidence." Seeing that they wanted to continue talking, Lu Juyuan said quickly, "Okay, it's almost time. You are all ready. It's time for us to set off." As Lu Juyuan finished speaking, Li Xuanren finally reacted, and with a wave of his hand, he led Lu Juyuan and others towards the distant secret realm of immortal burial. Before the immortal burial secret realm at this time, King Tianquan had been waiting here for a long time, and the rest of the team had also arrived, but Lu Juyuan and others had not yet arrived. Finally, just before the secret realm was about to begin, Lu Juyuan and others finally arrived in front of the immortal burial secret realm. "Is this the secret realm of immortal burial?" Lu Juyuan said with some surprise, and saw that there were endless mountains surrounding the immortal burial secret realm. Although some monsters rushed over from time to time, they mostly felt that there were strong people here, and they stayed away from this place. After seeing Lu Juyuan coming, King Tianquan couldn't help but show a satisfied expression, and then looked at the approaching team. "Everyone, you are all the best in this 100 Kingdoms competition, and I have promised you that if you can enter the top 10, you will be allowed to enter the secret realm of Burial Immortal, and today is the Burial Immortal secret realm. The time for the secret realm to open. The Immortal Burial secret realm will only be open for 10 days. You will be transported out after 10 days. Be careful, it is extremely dangerous inside. You must pay attention to your own safety." King Tianquan warned him seriously, and then looked at the transcending tribulation stage monk behind him, who also stood up and said very wisely, "Everyone, before you go in, you can only carry the storage ring provided by our Tianquan kingdom. We will check it when you leave, but don't worry, we will not be interested in your things." Hearing the words of the transcending tribulation stage monk, the geniuses present could not help but frown, but thinking that this was the territory of the Tianquan kingdom, they had no choice but to accept it. At this moment, a vibration came from a door behind King Tianquan, and a bright light burst out from the originally ordinary door. The next second, a water surface appeared in the gate. This was the gate connecting to the secret realm of the immortal burial. Okay, everyone, let's go in. After King Tianquan said that, he left here. The geniuses present came forward one after another and were inspected by the powerful men of Tianquan Kingdom. After confirming that they did not have their own storage rings, they received the storage rings of Tianquan Kingdom. The material ring entered the secret realm of buried immortals. Let's go in, too. Here's my storage ring. Lu Juyuan gave his storage ring to the Thousand Ghost King, while Li Tian and others gave theirs to Li Xuanren. Of course, Lu Juyuan and others naturally took their weapons before entering. In addition, for some reason, Lu Juyuan had a strange idea in his mind. Maybe the mysterious map had a certain connection with the burial immortal's secret realm, so by some strange coincidence, they got that map. Juyuan, you must be careful and don't show off. Li Qingping reminded with some worry. After all, there were monsters in the void refining stage among them. If Lu Juyuan and others encountered them, they would probably not be their opponents. Well, you must pay attention to safety and remember to put your own safety first. Li Xuanren reminded him, and Lu Juyuan and others also nodded. Don't worry, we will be measured. Let's go. After that, Lu Juyuan and others stepped forward to receive the storage ring, and then were about to enter the secret realm. They saw the 5 of them holding hands, and the next second they stepped into the door, and their figures disappeared. The places to enter the immortal burial secret realm are scattered. If you want to be together, you need to hold hands when you enter to be teleported to the same location. Hopefully, they will be okay. After seeing Lu Juyuan and others entering, Li Xuanren thought uneasily in his heart. When he raised his head, he also saw the casual smile on King Hu Huang's face. It seems that the other party did not expect that they already knew about Huangguo and Wudongguo. Let's cooperate. When he looked at How Heavenly King again, he saw that the other person's face was expressionless. Obviously, in the other person's eyes, this was just a cooperation. But if the geniuses of the 2 dynasties unite and become Lu Juyuan's opponent, then Lu Juyuan can just find a piece of tofu and kill him. Today's Lu Juyuan, although he has not yet reached the peak of Gold Core, can be regarded as the first person in the Gold Core stage in the true sense. He has not crossed the 3 major realms, and he may not be able to pose a threat to Lu Juyuan. Hey, I have a headache. Is this the secret realm of immortal burial? Shu Shirui felt a headache. When she raised her head, she saw that they had appeared in an unfamiliar mountain forest, and there were 2 big suns in the sky, shining on the earth every moment. It seems that there will be no night in these 10 days. Shu Shirui shook his head and thought to himself, but they didn't come into rest anyway. During the qi refining period, they were far different from ordinary people. Even if they didn't sleep for several days and nights, they would only feel a little uncomfortable. After the foundation building stage, you can go without rest for 10 days and a half. As for the Gold Core stage, your mental strength has reached an even more amazing level, and you can go without sleeping for 2.5 months. Are you all okay? At this moment, a voice came slowly. Shu Shirui quickly turned around and saw Lu Juyuan on the side with a calm expression. It was obvious that the space teleportation did not make him feel uncomfortable. Looking around, Chen Yuan, Li Tian and Zhang Chengfeng were also standing with uncomfortable expressions, but their performance was much better than her. When Shu Shirui opened her mouth and was about to say something, Lu Juyuan frowned slightly, and the next second he raised his Qingfeng sword and slashed at her. Shu Shirui was also frightened by this scene. Before she could react, Lu Juyuan's sword energy came in front of her and struck directly behind her. And when the sword energy passed by her, a warm feeling also appeared behind her. The faces of Li Tian and others looked extremely solemn. Great monster from the early stage of nascent soul. I didn't expect that as soon as we came in, we encountered the great monster in the early stage of nascent soul. In other words, if it weren't for Brother Lu, wouldn't we be wiped out by the group? Zhang Chengfeng took a breath of air and saw that behind Shu Shirui, a 3-meter-long insect corpse was lying on the ground. The wound was flat and smooth. It was cut in half by the sword energy swung by Lu Juyuan earlier. Maybe even the big insect didn't expect that a wall-hanging man actually came in this time. Thank you Brother Lu for saving your life. Shu Shirui knew she had escaped death, so she thanked him gratefully, even though she was 4 years older than Lu Juyuan. It's okay. We are all in the same group. It's our duty to take action. It's just that it's so dangerous inside, so we still need to be more careful. Lu Juyuan reminded him solemnly, and Li Tian and others also nodded. Since I killed this big insect, then his body belongs to me, don't you have any objections? After Lu Juyuan finished speaking, Li Tian and others quickly nodded in agreement. Just kidding, if it weren't for Lu Juyuan, I'm afraid they would have been half disabled even if they didn't die. How could they have any objections? Since they had no objections, Lu Juyuan would not hesitate and directly collected the corpse of the big insect. After putting away the corpse of the big insect, Chen Yuankai said curiously. Brother Lu, what are our plans next? After all, the strongest among them now is Lu Juyuan. Naturally, everything will be done as Lu Juyuan said. Lu Juyuan also frowned a little. Although it was said that there were immortal-level treasures of heaven and earth in it, he didn't know the specific details. Regarding the location, I was a bit confused for a while. But at this moment, Lu Juyuan felt something. He lowered his head and saw a faint light emanating from his arms. This movement also attracted the attention of Li Tian and others. Brother Lu, you are shining. Zhang Chengfeng said in shock, and the next second, Lu Juyuan reached into his arms and took out the glowing object, only to see that it was an ancient-looking scroll. Is that mysterious map really related to the immortal burial secret realm? Lu Juyuan also said with some surprise. He did not expect that the map he bought was the map of the immortal burial secret realm. Looking at the map again, he saw that the picture on the map changed, and soon a brand new picture was revealed. In front of Lu Juyuan and others. This is the map of the immortal burial secret realm. Li Tian and others came forward one after another and said with some doubts after seeing the map. Mainly because this news made them a little bit unbelievable. After all, the Tianquan kingdom had been looking for the map of the immortal burial secret realm for a long time, but to no avail. How could it fall into the hands of Lu Juyuan? If nothing else, this should be the map of the immortal burial secret realm. Our current location should be here. Lu Juyuan noticed a small red dot on the map. If nothing else happened, this should be their current location. But when he raised his head and looked around the little red dot, he could only say that it was exactly the same. At this point, Li Tian and others believed that this was the map of the immortal burial secret realm. But what excited them the most was that there were actually some precious treasures marked on the map. Hey, Brother Lu, now that we all know where those treasures are, shouldn't we take action? Li Tian smiled a little bit, while Lu Juyuan shook his head. Compared with those natural treasures, what I'm more curious about is, what is that small tower? As Lu Juyuan finished speaking, they were involuntarily attracted to a small tower in the southwest direction on the map. And soon, they thought of something, and their breathing became rapid. Could it be that this is the inheritance of the celestial immortal power? After all, that is the powerful celestial immortal. They may not be able to break through to the celestial immortal realm in their lifetime. It can be seen that the celestial immortal is so powerful that it is easy to destroy Tianquan kingdom with one hand. But at this moment, a sword energy came from behind everyone. Lu Juyuan was the first to feel the sword energy. He frowned and stamped his feet. Thousand rock shield. The ground shook for a while, and a rock wall appeared in front of the sword energy, blocking the sword energy. At this time, Li Tian and others also realized that someone was conducting a sneak attack. Who is it? Get out of here. Chen Yuan turned around angrily and looked at the location where the sword energy struck. Step, step, step. A crisp sound of footsteps came slowly from the depths of the woods, and a slender body was seen slowly walking out of the woods, clapping his hands and saying in surprise. I didn't expect that this sword didn't kill you, which is a pity. However, you won't be so lucky next. After seeing the other party's appearance, Li Tian and others' expressions became serious. Do the people from Huangguo only know how to make sneak attacks? The visitor was none other than the genius of Huangguo. He had met Lu Juyuan and others when they were in Longmo Mountain. Coupled with their relationship as enemies, they naturally kept him in mind. Oh, did you recognize it? Then, go to hell. After that figure said that, the whole person turned into an afterimage, and appeared in front of Li Tian in an instant, wanting to kill Li Tian directly. And Li Tian could only watch everything happen. After all, the opponent was too strong. In the middle stage of nascent soul, even if he tried his best, he might only be able to block one blow. But just when the opponent's sword was about to fall, he felt something. He blocked the weapon in front of him with a look of horror, but his sword was still broken by an invisible force. In fact, his whole body was shot away countless kilometers away. "Ha, thank you Brother Lu for taking action." Li Tian quickly thanked him, feeling extremely grateful that he had established a good relationship with Lu Juyuan, otherwise, they would have died thousands of times in this secret realm. Of course, without Lu Juyuan, they might not be able to enter the secret realm. "Come out, there should be more than one person." Lu Juyuan didn't say anything more, but looked to the other side. He could feel that the other 4 people from Huangguo were still hiding in the dark. Obviously, they wanted to let one person come out to deal with Lu Juyuan and others. If that didn't work, they would make a sneak attack again, but they didn't expect to encounter Guobi. After Lu Juyuan's words fell, there was no movement from the surroundings. They always believed that Lu Juyuan was just deceiving them. After all, they could feel that Lu Juyuan had not yet broken through to the nascent soul stage. Likewise, there were turbulent waves in their hearts. Even they couldn't defeat an early-stage nascent soul so easily in the gold core stage. "Since you don't want to come out, then let me ask you to come out." Boundless Vine Realm. Lu Juyuan snorted coldly, and the next second he suddenly slapped his hand on the ground. Li Tian and others still didn't know what Lu Juyuan meant. Just a moment later, the surrounding ground began to shake, and countless vines spread out from under the ground 10 meters away with Lu Juyuan as the radius. Looking from the sky, one could see that thousands of miles around were affected by Lu Juyuan's power, and countless vines grew from beneath the ground. Normally, the consciousness of the gold core stage is enough to cover a few kilometers in radius, while in the nascent soul stage, it can reach hundreds of kilometers. As for Lu Juyuan, he himself doesn't even know how wide his consciousness is now, he just knows, everything within a radius of 10,000 kilometers is within his sight. The positions of the other 4 people were naturally known to Lu Juyuan, so they saw countless vines sweeping towards the positions of those 4 people. This made them immediately understand that Lu Juyuan might really know their positions. So each one emerged from the void and took action with an angry look on his face. What shocked them was that their attacks landed on the vines but were unable to cut off the vines. In just a few seconds, countless vines tied them up and brought them to Lu Juyuan and others. At this time, Li Tian and others looked dull. It was obvious that Lu Juyuan was more powerful than they imagined. "You guys think that Brother Lu's strength is invincible at the nascent soul stage, right?" Shu Shirui swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said with some doubt, while Chen Yuan shook his head suddenly. "Impossible, absolutely impossible. Being able to cross one realm is already a sign of humanity. Crossing 2 realms, absolutely impossible." But when it came to the later part, even he hesitated a little. Indeed, Lu Juyuan's performance was a bit superhuman. Could it be that he really killed the soul formation stage? At this time, Lu Juyuan ignored their thoughts and controlled the vines to send all 5 of them in front of him. "You are so brave. Since you dare to take action from me, then all of you must die." After Lu Juyuan said that, he killed them, but at this moment, a middle-stage nascent soul said with a look of horror. "No, you can't kill us. We are the geniuses of the Huhuang Kingdom. If you dare to kill us, our Huhuang Kingdom will never let your Yuanwu Kingdom go." The other party's words made Lu Juyuan frown slightly, but soon Lu Juyuan sneered. "Aren't our 2 countries always fighting each other to the bitter end?" After that, Lu Juyuan ignored the frightened expression on the other party's face, and then directly controlled the vines to increase the strength, strangulating the 5 people on the spot, and even nascent soul did not escape. At this time, the 5 great geniuses of Wu Forging country finally arrived belatedly. After seeing this scene, they couldn't help but froze in place. Their strength is similar to the geniuses of Huangguo. Doesn't that mean that Lu Juyuan killed the geniuses of Huangguo so easily, and it will be easy to deal with them? At this time, Wu Quanchai's eyes were full of excitement. It was obvious that he had made the right bet. "Why, do you also want to take action?" At this time, Lu Juyuan looked at the geniuses of the Wu-forged kingdom and said slowly, although there were two great suns, their hearts felt cold, as if they were being stared at by the god of death. No, 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 we are just passing by, let's leave now. The genius headed by Wu-forging country said quickly, and after that, he led the geniuses from Wu-forging country and left here quickly. Only Wu Quankai did not leave, but came to Lu Juyuan and others with excitement on his face to thank them. Brother Lu, thank you very much. No, this is just a deal between us. If nothing happens, you can leave too. Lu Juyuan said calmly, while Wu Quankai said hey. Well, our relationship is so good, you won't mind if I follow you, right? Just kidding, he could feel Lu Juyuan's majestic luck, so he naturally wanted to follow Lu Juyuan. Lu Juyuan naturally had no objection. He could feel that Fatty had no ill intentions, and it would not be a bad idea if he could use it for his own purposes. In addition, he could feel that Fatty had some adventures in him. Please, let's go. After Lu Juyuan said that, he directly put all the heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the 5 people's storage rings into his own storage ring, and then came to the 4 puppets of Li Tian. Hey, what's wrong? It's time to go. Lu Juyuan waved his hand in front of them and said, and they finally came to their senses, with complex expressions on their faces, and finally Li Tian spoke. Brother Lu, I want to know, with your current strength, what level of monks do you need to be your opponent? Well, how should I put it? Based on the geniuses of Huangguo before, now it would take at least a monk in the void refining stage to force me to take action with all my strength. After Lu Juyuan thought for a while, he spoke, and his words undoubtedly caused several people present to explode again. Listen, are you speaking in human language? You are still in the void refining stage before you can attack with all your strength. You must know that you are only in the middle stage of gold core. And after thinking that what Lu Juyuan said seems to be true, they all couldn't help but wonder. Silence fell. Lu Juyuan could naturally see that perhaps his own strength made them feel inferior, so he comforted them. Don't feel inferior to yourself. As long as you work hard and cheat, you can be like me. As for what cheating means, they have no way of understanding it. Okay, let's go. If it's really there, at our current speed, it might take a few hours to get there. Lu Juyuan thought of something and quickly changed the subject. Li Tian and others cheered up. After all, there is a powerful inheritance of celestial immortal in the secret realm. If they can get it, their talents will be the best. You can become a strong person in the earth immortal realm. Wu Quankai, who was standing aside, couldn't help but curiously ask what it was after hearing Lu Juyuan's words. Lu Juyuan thought for a moment and did not hide it, because the inheritance of the powerful celestial immortal realm would probably choose its own inheritors, otherwise it would have been discovered by others after so many years. At the same time, the southwest end of the secret realm. No one is exploring here for the time being, just because there are monsters in the nascent soul stage and even the soul formation stage exploring here. However, the most dangerous place is also the safest place. If the inheritance of Taoist is buried here, this is the most likely place. I saw a team of 10 people exploring the southwest end of the secret realm along the dense woods, and they were the geniuses of the Tianquan kingdom. As the host, it is reasonable for Tianquan kingdom to send in 10 people. Yes, what you said makes sense, but have you ever considered our strength? With the strength of the 10 of us, together we may not be the opponent of the soul formation stage monster. One of them thought of something and said with a somewhat solemn expression. When he entered, the restrictions in the secret realm blocked out all the things that could enhance his strength. Otherwise, given the foundation of Tianquan kingdom, I am afraid that the demon beasts in the void refining stage would have been tortured and killed by them long ago. Of course I know this, but by chance, I obtained a secret method that can cover up our aura even if the monsters in the void refining stage are not paying attention. As long as we are careful, we will surely be able to find the inheritance of the Taoist burial immortal in it. The leader Tianzhao said with confidence, and he is the strongest Tianzhao in Tianquan kingdom this time, Shang Gongxing, and his cultivation is in the late nascent soul stage. After hearing Shang Gongxing's words, a hint of excitement appeared on the faces of the other 9 people. After all, it is the inheritance of the strong celestial immortal. If you can get it, even if you can't reach celestial immortal, you can reach earth immortal at the end. Brother Shang Gong, if that's the case, don't you know this technique? One of them said with some impatience. After all, if they could learn this secret technique from Shang Gongxing, their safety in the secret realm would be greatly improved. After hearing their words, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but waved his hands and said, "Of course this technique can be given to you, but will it be of any benefit to me in that way?" Shang Gongxing said with a half smile. The 9 people were not new, they naturally knew what Shang Gongxing wanted, so they said without hesitation, "If Brother Shang is willing to teach this technique to everyone, then we are willing to obey your orders from now on." The 9 people are naturally not stupid. Moreover, Shang Gongxing can break through to the peak of nascent soul in such a short period of time, which shows that Shang Gongxing's talent is not low. Furthermore, Shang Gongxing's own strength is the strongest among them. The presence. It can be tied at the peak of nascent soul in the early stage of soul formation, and it can slip away from the hands of the later stage of soul formation. All this is enough to show that Shang Gongxing is worth following. After hearing what they said, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but reveal a smile on his face, waved his hand and said, "Since you have said this, I naturally don't mind teaching you this secret technique. I just want you to make an oath of heaven and you will not go against my wishes from now on. How about that?" As Shang Gongxing finished speaking, the smiles on the faces of the 9 people froze. "I have made an oath of heaven and will not go against the wishes of Shang Gongxing from now on." What is the difference between these slaves? They are all descendants of the powerful people of Tianquan Kingdom and have their own arrogance. How can they submit to others? It is no exaggeration to say that if they make the oath of heaven, their future path will come to an end. Impossible, it's absolutely impossible to make an oath of heaven. One of the geniuses in the early stage of nascent soul snorted coldly and said, and the next second, a feeling of death enveloped their hearts. Looking up, he saw the smile on Shang Gongxing's face becoming particularly fierce. "I'm not discussing with you now, I'm just giving you an order. If you don't agree, then I don't mind erasing you all from here." Shang Gongxing threatened coldly, joking. When he opened his mouth, he didn't think of giving them a chance to refuse. In fact, there is a huge secret in Shang Gongxing's heart that even King Tianquan doesn't know, that is, he is a living person. In his previous life, his talent was mediocre, and it took him thousands of years to cultivate to the peak of Earth Immortal. However, due to talent issues, he was trapped at the peak of Earth Immortal. Finally, in the aftermath of the battle between 2 powerful golden immortals, he was affected and died. But when he opened his eyes again, he returned to the time when he was still in Tianquan Kingdom thousands of years ago. As a reborn person at the pinnacle of Earth Immortal, he naturally knows that the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist in the immortal burial secret realm does exist. According to what he knew, the next time it was needed, it was obtained by a lucky man named Lin Fan, and Lin Fan successfully broke through to Celestial Immortal within 500,000 years after receiving the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist realm. However, after receiving the inheritance of the immortal burial Taoist, King Tianquan also knew about it when he went out, and immediately tried to snatch it away, but Lin Fan used the immortal burial Taoist's secret method to escape. After breaking through Earth Immortal, Lin Fan also came back and slaughtered the entire Tianquan Kingdom. In this life, Shang Gongxing already knew the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist, so he naturally wanted to grab it. Therefore, within 2.5 years after his rebirth, he rose from an ordinary monk at the peak of foundation building in one fell swoop. He has cultivated to the peak of nascent soul in order to snatch the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist. Shang Gongxing, you are so brave. If we die here, aren't you afraid that there will be no good fruits for you after we go out? A monk in the early stage of nascent soul couldn't believe it and said angrily. Shang Gongxing just sneered. The secret realm is extremely dangerous. If I say that you were attacked and killed by the monsters from the soul formation stage, what can they do to me? The faces of the 9 people were full of anger, but they were helpless. After all, with the strength of Gongxing above, it seemed that there was really no problem in taking them down. Thinking of this, the 9 of them took a deep breath and could only agree, and one after another made the oath of heaven. As a faint roar came from the void, it meant that this oath had been recognized by heaven. If it was violated, heaven would drop thunder tribulation to kill them. Ha ha ha, okay, in that case, I'll give you the secret technique. Shang Gongxing laughed and said, then with a wave of his hand, he taught them the secret technique of immortal level concealment that he had obtained in his previous life. After obtaining the secret technique, the 9 people could feel the extraordinary power of this secret technique just by looking at it. I am afraid that it can really hide it from the eyes of the demon beasts in the void refining stage. Under the guidance of Shang Gongxing, the 9 people soon learned this secret technique. With a thought, their aura disappeared. Even if Shang Gongxing didn't feel it carefully, he couldn't feel it. Shang Gongxing is naturally not afraid that they will take action against him, unless they want to be killed by Heavenly Tao. Brother Shang Gong, now that we have learned the secret technique, shouldn't it be time to look for the inheritance of Taoist? One of them said, but at this moment, a huge roar came from the distance, boom. It directly attracted the attention of Shang Gongxing and others. Among them, Shang Gongxing could not help but frown. This power was at least the attack of the soul formation stage monster. Could it be that in the secret realm? Are there other strong men? Brother Liu, your strength is indeed extraordinary. Looking at the huge thousands-mile-long crack cut in front of him by Liu Chengsheng's sword, Li Tian couldn't help but swallowed and said, this time they are hugging the boss's lap. In the huge crack, the corpse of the mid-soul formation monster had long been wiped out, and not even the monster core remained. Lu Juyuan did not pay attention to Li Tian's words, but shook his head helplessly and said, it seems that we still need to pay attention. The soul formation stage's monster core can sell for 10,000 top-quality spiritual stones no matter what. Li Tian and others were speechless, while Zhang Chengfeng said with some worry, Brother Liu, if there is such a big commotion, will all the monsters in the secret realm be provoked? After all, they are no longer opponents in the nascent soul stage, let alone the soul formation stage or even the void refining stage. On the way just now, they encountered a soul formation stage with no eyes. After seeing the 5 people, they did not hesitate to devour them. This prompted Lu Juyuan to kill them with a sword. This was also Lu Juyuan's first time to kill the soul formation stage. One of them failed to control his strength and used 10% of his strength to kill the other party along with the monster core. Wolf Demon, you have intruded into my territory. It's okay. If they all come, then they will all become my spirit stones. Lu Juyuan said with a fearless expression, and then put the Qingfeng sword into the storage ring. It's a prank, don't mind. Li Tian and others also fell silent. It seems that there should be no monsters looking for death without eyes anymore. What they didn't expect was that when Lu Juyuan drew his sword, all the monsters in the immortal burial secret realm were trembling with fear. Doesn't this sword mean that monks who have surpassed the soul formation stage among humans cannot come in? Even the Monster King can't resist this sword, right? Hey, it's so scary. I'd better keep a low profile these 10 days. The monsters in the soul formation stage were trembling with fear and thought, and the Monster King they were talking about was the most powerful and only monster in the void refining stage in the entire immortal burial secret realm. At this time, the Monster King they were talking about was in the Monster King Palace in the immortal burial secret realm. His face was also full of solemnity. The power exerted by this sword was probably equivalent to his full blow. But you must know that he is in the early stage of void refining, and he also knows a little about the issues of the immortal burial secret realm. The monks who come in from the outside cannot be more than 30 years old. 30 years old. Among the ages of their monsters, they are not much different from young children. Difference. Can anyone really break through to the void refining stage at the age of 30? And Monster King did not expect that the existence of the void refining stage he mentioned was only the middle stage of gold core. However, Lu Juyuan's sword also made the monks who entered the secret realm safer. At least the beings above the soul formation stage did not dare to take action easily. On the other side, after taming all the 9 geniuses, Shang Gongxing led them to find the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist at the southwest end of the secret realm. And Lu Juyuan was not idle either. The terrifying consciousness was constantly searching in the secret realm. Soon, under the cover of the terrifying consciousness, Lu Juyuan also found an extraordinary place. Let's go, I think I should know where the secret realm of Taoist is. Lu Juyuan smiled and said, but before he started, Wu Quankai on the side exclaimed. Immortal burial Taoist, didn't you expect that the inheritance of immortal burial Taoist is really left in the secret realm? Wu Quankai had learned about Taoist's past by chance. Naturally, he knew how powerful Taoist was. He was at the peak of celestial immortal. He had killed countless powerful men and his net worth was even richer. And after his death, some people said that if he could get the inheritance of Taoist, his level of understanding might only reach celestial immortal, but the resource cover would definitely be enough to rival the strong ones of golden immortal realm. After hearing what Wu Quanchai said, Li Tian and others couldn't help but feel excited. Golden immortal realm level resources. If they could get it, it would be difficult not to take off. Let's go, we don't have much time. I can feel that there are 10 more people approaching that way. Lu Juyuan spoke at this time and said that the 10 people he was talking about were none other than Shang Gongxing and others. Although they had practiced the immortal level hidden breathing art, they were still unable to hide under Lu Juyuan's consciousness. Knowing that time was urgent, Li Tian and others did not dare to delay, and hurriedly followed Lu Juyuan's footsteps towards the inheritance of Taoist. At the same time, on the way to the inheritance place, Shang Gongxing encountered some nascent soul stage monsters from time to time, looking for death, but there were no soul formation stage monsters, which made Shang Gongxing suspicious. It's not my luck. However, he didn't think much about it, and Shang Gongxing also felt that there was a feeling contacting him, that is, the secret realm of Taoist burying immortal was right here. Brother Shanggong, do you think the secret realm of Taoist is really here? One of them said with an ugly face at this time. After all, if they did not get the inheritance of Taoist, then Shang Gongxing would not be worthy of their following. Shut up, it's not your turn to talk here. I said it would be here. Shang Gongxing said with a gloomy expression. In Shang Gongxing's eyes, their words were a challenge to their majesty. As Shang Gongxing's pressure broke out, although they felt angry in their hearts, they were helpless. He couldn't beat him again and again, and he made an oath of heaven. But at this moment, Shang Gongxing seemed to see something, and his eyes lit up. I saw a huge tower appear in the eyes of the grandpa. Although it was there, it could not be sensed with spiritual consciousness. The others also saw the location of the giant tower, and a trace of confusion could not help but appear in their eyes. Excited. After looking at each other for a while, they said in unison. The inheritance place of Taoist. Huh, let's go. Let's talk after we go in, otherwise things will change. Shang Gongxing took a deep breath to calm down. Although he was a powerful earth immortal in his previous life, he still couldn't control his inner excitement when facing the inheritance of Taoist. After all, that is not only the cultivation experience at the peak of celestial immortal, but also the resources to cultivate to golden immortal. As Shang Gongxing finished speaking, 10 people quickly rushed towards the giant tower. Soon, they arrived in front of the giant tower. After seeing that the door of the giant tower was tightly closed, they all breathed a sigh of relief. After all, this means that the inheritance is still there. But at this time, they were in trouble. How on earth were they going to get in? After all, it is the inheritance place of immortal burial Taoist. If you break in directly, will you lose the inheritance qualification directly? Soon, Shang Gongxing saw something and was involuntarily attracted to it. The other 9 people also looked over there in unison after seeing this scene. I saw a stone pillar standing there. The moment he saw the stone pillar, Shang Gongxing immediately understood how to open the door. Didn't you expect that it's a qualification test? I don't know how much talent Taoist needs to accept his inheritance. Shang Gongxing secretly thought in his heart. With his experience he could naturally see it, but the other 9 people naturally couldn't. Thinking of this, Shang Gongxing said lightly. Shu Feng, come and try it, press your hand down. Hearing Shang Gongxing's words, Shu Feng had a slight hesitation on his face, but forced by the threat of the heavenly Tao oath, he could only step forward, took a deep breath and pressed his hand on the stone pillar. After Shu Feng pressed his hand on it, only a scattered purple light emitted from the stone pillar, and the door did not open. After Shu Feng took his hand back, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but shook his head. It seemed that Shu Feng's talent was not enough to open the door, and he didn't know if his talent was enough. Thinking of this, Shang Gongxing even wanted to reach out his hand to see if he could open the door. But at this moment, a voice came faintly from behind them. Stop it, this is not your place to touch. If you want to touch it, you must be prepared to accept all the consequences. Although the voice was very soft, the dead man's face became solemn because of it, and he quickly turned his head to look at the sky. Only Lu Juyuan, Li Tian and others were seen. After seeing that Li Tian and others were only in the gold core stage, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, thinking he had met some big boss. Thinking of this, Shang Gongxing said calmly, "Xu Feng, go and get rid of them all." After hearing what Shang Gongxing said, Xu Feng, who was standing aside, had a cold expression and didn't say anything. He came to Lu Juyuan and others in just a moment. Just when he was thinking about killing Lu Juyuan and others, he didn't expect to be grabbed by the neck directly by Lu Juyuan. "If you take action, you must be prepared to die," Lu Juyuan said calmly, and then gently used force to kill Xu Feng. This scene happened in a flash of lightning, and even Shang Gongxing didn't react. After coming to his senses, Shang Gongxing smiled instead of being angry. Okay, I didn't expect you to dare to kill my people. Boy, you still have a chance to survive now, that is to make an oath of heaven to become my little brother, otherwise if so, you will die here today." When Xu Feng was killed, Shang Gongxing did not think of avenging him. In Shang Gongxing's view, Xu Feng was just a younger brother who was just using a tool. Lu Juyuan could kill Xu Feng so easily. I am afraid that his strength is at the high-level nascent soul stage. If he can be taken under his command, it will be more valuable than the dead Xu Feng, right? But he didn't expect that the Lu Juyuan in front of him was a man he couldn't afford to offend. After hearing Shang Gongxing's words, Lu Juyuan's expression just wrinkled, while Wu Quankai behind him subconsciously used the luck observation technique, but he saw the terrifying luck in Shang Gongxing, which actually reached the level of Lu Juyuan. 1% of. In other words, if nothing unexpected happens, Shang Gongxing will definitely be able to break through to the level of immortal king or even immortal sovereign. But compared with Lu Juyuan, it is much inferior. "Are you ready to die?" Lu Juyuan said coldly. Before Shang Gongxing could react, a huge murderous intention swept through his body in the next second. This feeling was like that time when he was targeted by the golden immortal giant. But thinking about Lu Juyuan actually entering the secret realm, how could the realm reach such a terrifying level? 9 Yang slash. After Lu Juyuan finished speaking, the Qingfeng sword in his hand seemed to cut through the water, leaving waves behind, and the sword energy in it rushed toward Shang Gongxing and his party like a clear spring. It's just that underneath the gentleness of a clear spring, there's energy comparable to the sun. The moment the sword energy was swung out, Shang Gongxing's heart suddenly screamed, and his face was full of panic. "You are the mysterious strong man from before." After saying that, the movements in his hands also started to move. In his previous life, his weapon was a spear that had reached the immortal high grade. Naturally, he would not abandon the spear after his rebirth. Although the grade has dropped a lot, only the top grade Zon grade, it is enough for him today. Zon Long first grade attack. Shang Gongxing shouted violently, and the spiritual power in his body wrapped around the spear like a long dragon, and then Shang Gongxing threw the spear directly. In just an instant, 2 terrifying forces collided with everything, and the 8 nascent soul stage geniuses did not even have a chance to resist this force, and were turned into ashes by its terrifying aftermath. Shang Gongxing had no intention of paying attention to this at this time. His face was full of solemnity, and his power had been used to the extreme at this time. If he faced an ordinary middle stage soul formation, he would probably have been killed long ago. Now it was a deadlock with Lu Juyuan's attack, and Lu Juyuan even had the strength to protect Li Tian and others behind him. "Hey, it's interesting. It can actually block 10% of my power. If that's the case, then add some strength." Lu Juyuan was also a little surprised that Shang Gongxing could block his own blow. He could feel that Shang Gongxing was only at the peak of nascent soul. "Is it so strong? Then, let's try my 20% strength again." After Lu Juyuan's words fell, the power that was still in a stalemate also changed in the next second. He only saw that 9 Sun Slash was attacking at Shang Gongxing's position at a certain speed. Seeing this scene, Shang Gongxing was stunned for a moment. This is only 20% of his strength. Are you kidding me? I can't do this even if I am reborn at the peak of Earth Immortal. Thinking of this, Shang Gongxing shouted without hesitation. "No more fighting, I surrender. Sir, I am willing to be your slave." As Shang Gongxing finished speaking, the sword energy that could take his life dissipated in front of him. After the sword energy dissipated, Lu Juyuan slowly flew in front of Shang Gongxing and said calmly, "Sake a heavenly oath to be loyal to me and spare your life." Although Shang Gongxing was extremely aggrieved at this time, he also knew that his own strength was not enough to kill Lu Juyuan. Moreover, the previous blow was a blow with his full strength, and he could not even force Lu Juyuan's full strength come out. This shows how powerful Lu Juyuan is. Moreover, in his previous life, he did not know that there was an existence like Lu Juyuan. In other words, is it a variable? Thinking of this, Shang Gongxing took a deep breath and made an oath of heaven to submit to Lu Juyuan. Only then did Lu Juyuan put away the Qingfeng sword. After making the oath of heaven, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but feel something, and his face couldn't help but be surprised. Is it luck? What a majestic power of luck! In his previous life, Shang Gongxing could vaguely feel the existence of luck, and after his rebirth, this ability also returned with him. So after feeling such good luck, Shang Gongxing became completely convinced of Lu Juyuan. After Shang Gongxing recognized his master, Lu Juyuan also noticed the stone pillar not far away, and saw the look in Lu Juyuan's eyes. Shang Gongxing quickly explained. Young master, that stone pillar is a qualification testing stone. According to my understanding, the inheritance door can only be opened after the qualifications have reached the approval of the immortal burial Taoist. Otherwise, I am afraid that even King Tianquan may not be able to open it. Quote. After saying these words, a hint of surprise appeared on Lu Juyuan's face. With his luck and understanding, he probably wouldn't have any big problems going in. Thinking of this, Lu Juyuan came to the stone pillar in one step. At this time, Li Tian and others came to Shang Gongxing with some envy and said, "This fellow Taoist, you are about to achieve great success. I never thought that you could become Brother Lu's slave. If I didn't have a sect, I would probably want to become Brother Lu's slave." Me too. After seeing Li Tian and others, Shang Gongxing couldn't help but be surprised. He could see that the four people in front of him had good backgrounds. If they could be given certain resource support, they might not be worse than Xu Feng and others before. What surprised him the most was Wu Quankai. Although Wu Quankai was at the pinnacle of gold core, for some reason, Shang Gongxing could feel that there were secrets in him that he could not see through. Okay, everyone, please be quiet. The young master is about to start. Shang Gongxing said at this time. His eyes couldn't help being attracted by Lu Juyuan's actions. He wanted to see what kind of talents Lu Juyuan could burst out. The faces of Li Tian and others also became a little solemn. They naturally believed that Lu Juyuan could be recognized by the qualification testing stone, but they just wanted to know how far Lu Juyuan could do it. In the eyes of everyone looking expectantly, Lu Juyuan calmly placed his hand on the qualification testing stone. The next second, a beam of light reaching the sky penetrated the entire immortal burial secret realm. At the northern end of the immortal burial secret realm, there were 5 monks who were killing a late-stage nascent soul monster. After finally killing the monster, they obtained the beast core in a heaven-level top-grade 10,000 thunder grass. The beam of light at the scene also attracted their attention. Then, has the supreme treasure been born? Let's go and fight for it. Hurry up, the treasure is born. If you can get it, you will definitely be able to soar into the sky, and even surpass King Tianquan. It seems that our Qinfeng kingdom will also get a share of the pie. The prodigies of the country who were still alive in the immortal burial secret realm rushed towards the position of the light pillar. In their view, the road to immortality could only be forward but not backward. Only a desperate fight can break through. In the Monster King's palace, Monster King was also attracted by the beam of light, and a bright light burst out in his eyes. That direction is the inheritance of that adult. No, I want to get a share of the pie. Monster King naturally knew that the inheritance place of burial immortal Taoist was at that location, and he also tried it in the past, but was not recognized, so he had to give up. Now that someone has been recognized by Taoist, it is impossible for him to ignore it. Thinking of this, Monster King also burst out and rushed towards the Tower of 10,000 Treasures at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, in front of the Tower of 10,000 Treasures, Lu Juyuan looked at the aptitude test stone that had been broken into pieces and couldn't help but frown. Is the quality of this qualification testing stone so poor? It's broken like this. Behind him, the eyes of Shang Gongxing and others almost hit the ground. How is it possible? Are there really people with such terrifying qualifications in the world? Shang Gongxing said in disbelief. knowing that even if it were him, he could barely reach the level of golden light, and in his previous life, he only saw the existence of extremely golden light. But he had never heard of a qualification detection stone that could detect an explosion. Li Tian and others just said one sentence, awesome. Having followed Lu Juyuan all the way, they naturally knew how powerful Lu Juyuan was. It can only be said that any impossible thing that happened to Lu Juyuan seemed less strange. As the qualification testing stone exploded, the door not far away also heard bursts of rumbling sounds, and then slowly opened. After the door opened, Lu Juyuan couldn't help but frown, turned to look at Li Tian and others and said, "Let's go in first. I feel that there are a lot of trouble-seeking people on their way." Although Lu Juyuan is not afraid of them, he just always has some troubles. After hearing Lu Juyuan's words, their faces became serious. It was obvious that the movement here might have attracted all the creatures in the Immortal Burial's secret realm. It is more likely that they attracted the Monster King in the Void Refining stage. So far, they have not seen Lu Juyuan's full strength. Naturally, they do not know whether Lu Juyuan is the opponent of the Monster King in the Void Refining stage. After seeing Lu Juyuan enter the gate of the Tower of 10,000 Treasures, Li Tian and others quickly followed in, and after they entered, the gate also closed with a rumble. The next second the door closed, the figure of Monster King also came here. After seeing the closed door, his face became gloomy. "I don't believe it anymore. Can you still come out?" After Monster King said that, he started waiting here, and not far away, the geniuses of the major dynasties were also rushing here, but what they didn't expect was that the Monster King in the Void Refining stage had been waiting here for many years. It's time. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.